560 WQAM presents The Neil Rogers Show. Talk to Neil. 567-516 Dane or Merwin County. 516 Verizon Wireless customer. 877-785-NEIL is a toll-free call. The opinions expressed by Neil Rogers, his guests or callers, does not reflect those of the Beasley Broadcast Group, its staff, advertisers, or agency. Now, The Neil Rogers Show on 560 QAM.
Why are you airing shit like this?
Yes.
George O'Connor is aware that Georgie Cobb wants a student time to their car. Celia, he's a double guinea wop. Clarence Tom is his Uncle Tom. Don't bother them about democracy now. They want George to be crowned. Those telephone and a paper Tom delay. He'll rule the world someday. Stop the counting Florida. It's partisan. Stop the counting Florida. Make sure that Georgie wants.
Nice going, CNN.
Oh!
They blow it again, baby. I'm going to tell you. They are an embarrassment, CNN.
Uh-huh.
Jesus, Joseph and Mary. Watching some hockey games last night around 10 o'clock. I'm flipping around. During every break, during every intermission, I would like to flip over to see if anything had happened, any news. Around 10 o'clock, I flip over to CNN, and I see the thing on the bottom of the screen that says, U.S. Supreme Court sends it back to the Florida Supreme Court. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And Bernie Shaw is on there going, pop, 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 and I'm listening to what he's saying, and I'm watching what they're saying, and then John King comes on, I'm listening to what he's saying, and I get to put my, oh yeah, nice going there, Defoe. Don't blame Alex Rodriguez for being greedy and taking $250 million. Oh, and don't even get me started on that. We've got so much to cover today, I might not even have time for your stupid calls. But at any rate, what the hell was I just saying before Defoe walked in and got me all sidetracked? He's not allowed in here. But at any rate, so I'm watching CNN, and it's obvious to me that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. I flip over to MSNBC, who have outdistanced them by 50 million miles during this whole thing, not even a contest, and their thing on the bottom of the screen says, or as Hank said yesterday, the font says, U.S. Supreme Court reverses Florida Supreme Court, says recount unconstitutional. So somehow the legal experts at MSNBC got it right last night right off the bat, this very confusing, convoluted, fascist conclusion. But the people at CNN, it took them an hour and 10 minutes before they even began to understand what the hell had happened. An hour and 10 minutes. And then this morning they were on there, they talk about chutzpah, they're like showing like instant replay, it's 10:01, 10:20, they're showing all the blunders from last night, although they're not admitting they made any blunders. And then come to find out that Gore got his information, he was watching CNN. What does that tell you? Hey, Al, it's time to concede, baby. It's time to concede. And I don't say that from greed, because the fact is that Bush getting in. See, I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, Bush wins. I'm not happy about that in the very least. The election was stolen fair and square, like I told you weeks ago. But at least maybe the market will go up tomorrow. NASDAQ's down 15 points, and the Dow, which was up 143, it's up only 77, and that's all going away. So not only we got a moron for president and a bunch of fascists in the Supreme Court, but also we're not even making any money over it. That pisses me off. What the hell was Defoe hawking you electronic about?
A Spanish pronunciation issue.
Restaurantes. Oh, I'm sorry. So at any rate, yeah, I just heard the last blurb there with Defoe this morning, like they're chewing out the fans. Don't you guys understand? I realize that you're a bunch of sports shields. Don't you understand? But other than football, it's all over with. It's history. It's all over. Just like the election, it's all over. Will somebody please explain that to Al? It's all over, Al. Although now I see the market going down. Let's count them again. Count the votes. What do you say? Count them. Oh! Until you get the right number. It's all over with. How long is it going to be on? It says on there, no reaction from Bush until Gore speaks. In other words, it's you go first, no, you go first. Just like when we did the dueling courts last Friday. Same thing again. Hot potato time. Or is it mashed potato time with Dee Dee Sharp? Is that what it is?
Uh-huh.
Something like that. Got so many damn things going on the plate here. And then the real story, talk about the public getting screwed again, and I realize this isn't nearly as important to a lot of you folks as the election, but Panthers may have found a buyer. And now we understand that Wayne is sticking it to the people again. This is the reason that everything's been in limbo. He doesn't give a crap about Brian Murray, Terry Murray, Arthur Murray, Catherine Murray. He don't give a crap about any of that or about you people because he's busy trying to peddle it. But since he's supposed to be smart, Wayne, he's supposed to be smart, not dumb like Fredo and like George Bush. You would have thought, I was saying to George this morning, if you were going to sell your house, would you let it just fall apart? Would you let it just become dilapidated and look like crap and then try to get the highest price for it? I don't think that's the way it works. Even the article by Sarah Tilley and Michael Russo in the Sun Sentinel this morning says Boca Resorts had hoped to sell the team for $150 to $175 million, but Forbes magazine's annual valuations released this month placed the team's worth at $147 million. That represents a 9% decline, the largest in the league from last year, and dropping every minute. So nice going, Wayne, but what it really says, just like the thing with Rodriguez, with all these other jocks, they don't care about the fans anymore. They don't care about you people. They don't care how much money you have to pay to build stadiums and arenas, to buy tickets, to buy overpriced crappy food at the concessions. They don't care. Screw you. It's all about them. And you know what I say? Screw them. That's what I say. Screw them. Take your balls and go hide them. Oh, speaking of taking your balls, our poll yesterday about hazing, and I see the coach was suspended at Coconuts Greek High School. He got a 10-day suspension, 10 games, 10 days, whatever he got, 10 days without pay, and they're going to tie him up in a quarter and smear that icy blue on his rectum. But that's about it, because boys will be boys. Our poll yesterday, hazing is unacceptable behavior, 499 over 72%, thank God. Stupid but harmless, 119, 17.2%. And just kids having fun, 72 idiots said that, about 10% of you morons out there. Just kids having fun, just boys will be boys, and want to monkey around with other guys' penises. Don't you understand that? Yeah, I understand it. I don't think there's anybody, if you want to be honest with yourself, whether it's college fraternities, whether it's the military, whether it's Coconuts Greek High School, we all know what that is.
That's a gay club, you moron.
We know what it is. Decision on Gore response expected later this morning. How much later? Give us a time. Just get on there and say, game over. Tried my best. Here's our poll for today. Let's see let's play the blame game. The audience likes that. We probably ought to put the Cubans on there too, but I'm not going to do that.
They'll win, whatever it is.
No, they won't. They didn't win the thing yesterday.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Come on, stop being
Well, they were up against the Frogs, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's tough. Who's most to blame? Most to blame. That's the operative word in our poll today. Who's most to blame for Gore losing the election? I'm going to give you, 8 choices today. It's like going in a restaurant with a lot of choices on the menu. I like that. Al Gore himself, the state of Florida, dumb voters, Joe Lieberman, Ralph Nader, the U.S. Supreme Court, the Florida Supreme Court, or Teresa Lepore. Huh? Well, don't you think that she belongs on the poll? I sure do. No, I'm not going to come out with some ethnic group like old Jews in Palm Beach or Cuban voters. I'm not putting that on the poll. There's the 8 choices again. Al Gore himself, the state of Florida, dumb voters, Joe Lieberman, Ralph Nader, the U.S. Supreme Court, the Florida Supreme Court, or Teresa Lepore. Who's most to blame for Gore losing this election? And there's no question he did lose it. I mean, when you win the popular vote and you lose the electoral college, you certainly lost it. Whether we want to say it was stolen or not, but he put himself in a position where it was close enough he allowed it to be stolen. So we'll see, because basically the game is finally over, which I know disappoints a lot of people out there. It's over. And please don't insult my intelligence by giving me a song and dance. Oh, well, the Florida, and I'm going to tell you who really screwed it up. I'm going to tell you my opinion right now, after the break. 9 minutes after 10 at 560 WQM.
No portion of this program may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM Beasley Broadcast Group, Incorporated.
And not for the talking.
This is the best. This just in. An increasingly desperate Al Gore called for a recount Wednesday of the U.S. Supreme Court's 5-4 decision in the Bush versus Gore case. There is reason to suspect that these votes were not properly counted and that 5 justices who sided with Mr. Bush did not intend to do so, Gore said. It is therefore in the best interest of our democracy for the U.S. Supreme Court to suspend judgment in this case until we can absolutely be certain that this court did in fact intend to rule on Mr. Bush's behavior. Gore added that if his recount request is denied, he will file an appeal with the Interplanetary Supreme Court. All right. Yeah. Let me just read that one sentence. See, the Florida Supreme Court really screwed this whole deal up twice. Not once, but twice, which shows you how inept, not just corrupt, but inept the state of Florida is. We can't do anything right here. I keep telling you that, and it's true. First time, back before Thanksgiving, when they said breathlessly, oh, well, guess what? Not so fast there, Secretary of Bush. We're going to let you recount the ballots because they requested a recount in Palm Beach and Dayton Broward, and you guys go ahead and do it. And we'll give you like 5 minutes to do it, or it was about 5 days, including over the Thanksgiving holiday. They gave them an insufficient time when even a child would have known that there's no way the process could have been completed. So the fact that all these Ojan Provocatorum came and got shipped in by Tom DeLay to Dade County, that was just the icing on the cake for, for them to say, we just can't. David Leahy just passed out again and said we can't get it done in time. We're going to quit. If they would have given them 10 days to do it, all the counting would have been done a long time ago. Then at least we'd have numbers. I mean, they still would have been challenged on the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, all this other bullcrap, but at least we'd know the numbers. So they screwed up there. And then when they came in Saturday again breathlessly, just when we thought it was Friday afternoon, and we had that Lewis and Clark expedition there in the courts in Leon County and got lost our way. And 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon, oh, guess what? Start counting again. But again, is it possible for justices on the state Supreme Court to be so stupid as to not realize that whoever they were ruling against was immediately going to come in with that equal protection argument? So instead of just saying, oh, let's count them again, what they had to say was, here's the standard for determining the intent of the voter. It has to be equal in all 67 counties. And if they would have done that, the counting would have continued, and we'd have gotten a number. Whether it was right or wrong, of course, you can only guess, but at least there would have been a number. The 5 most conservative justices also said, this is in addition, of course, to the unconstitutionality of the way that they were counting. The 5 most conservative justices, the same one who ruled the other day, just by coincidence, of course, also said there was not enough time to come up with a new method for recounting that would stand constitutional muster. And, of course, since the safe harbor deadline was December 12th, which just happened to be yesterday, 10 o'clock at night, they said, oh, you got till midnight. So come up with a good standard, get all the votes together, and you got 2 hours. Oh, can't do it? Well, guess what? It's all over then. That's the way it worked. Oh, Gore will address the nation tonight.
Because there has been some discussion within the Gore camp as to whether he concedes or whether he suspends or withdraws his operation here. So let's be very careful about that. We also don't know exactly how he's going to be handled. Oh, brother. You know something? This was a guy who was going to go out with class. They kept saying that. And they were saying again last night, they emphasized, Mario Cuomo was on desperately the other night talking about this business of the electors changing their minds, and they've been putting the full court press on Republican electors. And the Gore people, he's a man of principle. He won't have any party to do with, he don't want anything to do, he will not accept their votes. He discourages it. He don't want anything to do with that. And now they're still debating on whether he's going to concede or not? You've got to be kidding me. See, this goes back to what I told you in the first place. These were 4 of the worst possible candidates in the history of this republic. This was a disgrace. Whether he's just going to suspend operations. In other words, we'll just wait in limbo and see maybe something good will come by. How the hell can you do that? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Oh, well, I see. Suspends recount effort. Well, of course, what am I watching CNN for? I must be a crazy person. I must be like John Henry. I must be out of my mind. Please let me get on to MSNBC. These people don't know what they're talking about. They keep putting the wrong information on there. Now, look at this. On MSNBC, Al Gore expected to drop out of the race.
Much can he do toward healing a nation deeply divided?
Yeah, that's what needs to be done. Somebody needs to get a hold of Ted Turner and tie him up and put icy blue on his private parts if we can find any, if Jane hasn't cut him off already. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Let me vote in my poll here. Let's see, who's most to blame? Okay. Well, that's kind of a tough one, you know. I could say Al Gore himself, but I'll vote for the Florida Supreme Court. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Happy holidays, man.
Same to you, sir.
Happy Hanukkah, Neil, and God bless you always, sir. Al Gore in 2004. It kind of has a rhyme to it, Neil.
Oh, yeah,
listen, Neil.
No chance.
I don't understand why we never had anybody brought up a runoff. I mean, I know there's never been a runoff with a
There
president.
are no runoff elections for president, sir. We don't have runoffs.
I know that.
Why nobody ever brought it up, because that's not the way the system works.
I know that, Neil, but with an election so darn close, don't you think?
Sir, let me say it again. There is no runoff for the presidency of the United States, and have a nice life. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT. What am I giving numbers out here for? You people have been all whipped up to a frenzy about this for the last 8 million weeks now. What am I giving phone numbers out here? This is the day. This is the day to say something, I would think. Of course, who am I to say? Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Well, look, I voted for Gore, but he should have never have lost this election. Bush is kind of a bumbling idiot. The country's never been in better shape, and he can't win the election. Look, if anybody thinks that he should run in 2004, they should be shot. He's a loser. He's a dog. They got to come up with somebody better. He lost this election. It should have never been close. I'm out.
Amen. Okay, thank you. Yeah, he was a terrible candidate. And picking Lieberman sealed his fate. That has kind of a nice ring to it. Terrible candidate, and he sealed his fate with Jew Lieberman. I mean, I know that if I was going to, invite everybody to lunch in Aintree, I'd have a couple of Hasidim sitting around there. Lost every state in the Deep South now, including Florida. Every single one. All the border states. Yeah, all the nose pickers. And they're still trying to figure this out. See, I hate to break the news to all you intellectuals there in the media, but the anti-Semitic, that undercurrent there is never going to come out in exit polls or any other place. People aren't going to come out and announce proudly, at least not too many of them, that they voted against, not just because I've said it too many times before. It wasn't just your ordinary pedestrian garden variety Jew. It was somebody who went out of his way to wear it on his sleeve. He had halava under one armpit, and he was wearing his tzitzis in between his cheeks.
Rectum.
Yeah. And people just couldn't handle it. So you combine that with the fact that Gore is as wooden as a cigar store Indian, the fact that the debate performances were grotesque at best, the fact that every exaggeration he made was made into a big song and dance by the media. He never had a Chinaman's chance. He was pathetic. It was his to lose, and he blew it. He blew it. What's that? Is that a Hall's Mentholyptus?
Yeah, sugar-free.
Oh, I'm going to come running in there and get not sugar-free. Oh, no. Like I said, I'll pass soon. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good morning. I think I'm about your age. I'm 60 years old, and like a crazy fool, I retired up in Ohio, moved down here, and I started listening to you, and I kept thinking, this guy don't know what the hell he's talking about.
Really?
You know what? You do know what you're talking about. This place is full of screwballs and idiots.
Yeah.
California, and the most place you're more apt to get run over by a car is in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
I go to church, everybody in church, hey, have a nice day. You walk in the parking lot, and they all run over you trying to get out of there.
Right.
They pull in front of you, name it.
Yeah, but at least they say have a nice day. That's probably the only place here they do that.
Everything that you've said for the 4 years I've been here, everybody thinks is bull crap. You know what? It's the truth.
Absolutely correct, sir.
Yeah. And I think it's the time, right now's the day for all this garbage where it belongs is to put it down the garbage disposal with Bush and Gore and all the rest of these idiots down here. And maybe I can convince...
he just won't stop saying it. Oh, God. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Now, what is this? What is this? Here's a guy that wants to, everybody now, we don't have people who want to help donate to Planned Parenthood. What they want to do is give free sponsorships for us to plug their business on here, whatever it is, and then they're going to donate. The answer is,
no,
hey, don't do that. It sounds like our sales department. Oh, speaking of our sales department, Nick from Nick Cigars, our good close personal friend who loves us and we love him, and for obvious reasons. He's a great guy and got a fantastic business with great products. Been with us from the day we came on his station. John Penis used to be a sales rep, but he was smart enough to get out of this place. But at any rate, he was on the phone with George this morning saying that Frank down in sales, Frank Mayer, is a major...
He's an asshole.
Asshole, and he wants a new sales hole down there. So nice going, Frank. You've stolen cigars. You've faked your way out of the account. You've shot yourself in the foot by being such an asshole. See, guys like Frank Mayer think that they can continue being wise guys forever. In fact, he was probably getting encouragement from certain people downstairs. I don't want to mention Screw Ann by name because, you know, stick it to them. Stick it to that Neil and George. Stick it to them, you know. So what you did was shot yourself in the foot because it was like easy commission that you were collecting there, inheriting somebody else's account, and it's not going to be your account anymore, Frank. You blew it. And then remember last time he walked in with cigars that weren't even from Nick's.
Right. Just to try to
appease us because he stole all that crap.
The good news is that Nick likes you, me, the show so much that he's not going to let the sales department come between us.
We love him. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, listen, I disagree with you on the Supreme Court, on the Florida Supreme Court. If they had made a decision on how to count the ballots, they would have been accused of legislating by the Supreme Court, by the nation's Supreme Court. So they couldn't do that. Actually, I think the Supreme Court should have then, on the first time, gone back to the Florida Supreme Court and told them, you have to set the standards, and that would be the only way.
Well, let me ask you this. How about when they gave them the extension back in November? Why didn't they give them a reasonable period of time in which they could have had the votes counted instead of giving them like 4 or 5 days?
Because then they would have been accused of legislating again. You see, that's the whole thing.
No, they wouldn't, because they were already setting a date. It didn't make any difference what the date was. That's not correct. That is not correct.
But then the whole issue really is not the date. The issue is the standards. You see?
No, I mean, they're two different issues. Okay, if assuming I agreed with you on this last one, which maybe you have a point, but as far as the initial decision to let them, because they had a right to ask for the recount by law. They weren't creating that law.
I know, absolutely. But
so then why didn't they give them a reasonable period of time to do it?
Well, you see what happened. Even if they did, the Supreme Court came back and told them, "Hey, you know, you legislated by moving the date." That's what they did. They accused the Florida Supreme Court of legislating.
They never said that.
That's what they implied.
No, they never said anything about the date.
Yes, that was the first time. That was the whole thing about the date.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, I think it's the Supreme Court that would be the only way that they would have told at the first time.
In addition to which, if they would have had the reasonable date, no matter what anybody else said, the counting would have gone on, and we at least would know what the numbers are.
Oh, well, that I agree with.
Well, so what would be wrong with that?
Yeah, that I agree. But I think it was the Supreme Court that should have, from the very beginning, said, give us the standards, and that was the only way that the Florida Supreme Court could have done it.
Right.
And
well,
the fault,
they didn't do it.
I know, but and the fault is Teresa Laporte and confused voters who blew it.
Okay.
Okay?
God bless America. Okay.
Bye.
God bless us all. Al Gore expected to officially concede tonight.
Political advisors. But the closest decision being made by Al Gore and his family.
I'm going to tell you, Ted Turner is the Antichrist. I'm convinced of that. Either him or Frank Mayer. Maybe both. Maybe Frank Mayer should be working for Ted Turner. What do you think? Not for us. Because CNN just can't get anything right. They just make my skin crawl. 26 after 10 at 560 WQA.
And I'm going to tell you something right now, and you can mark it down. If Broward County would change their mind and decide they wanted to build this facility, I will not play here. Because I will not have you guys looking at me for the next 10 years saying, here's a guy that said one thing and went out and did something else.
I can still remember the day Clayton came into town. Robbie on the Dolphins, the Marlins weren't around. You thought he was the greatest until we all got screwed. Now I wonder who stops the way. Garbage man from Jersey, seeking fortune in the sun. He started renting movies, sex and porno he had done. Waited glance and big deal, he's gonna pay the Everglades. Now I wonder, who stopped the rain? I heard Neil Rogers saying, I wait to wanted more. I went to see the Panthers, but Wayne had locked the door. It's 100 degrees in halftime, but I can't find no tears. Now I'm walking, and I wonder who stopped the way.
10:32 at 560 WQM. Hey, listen, Wayne, don't take it personally, but here's a message from me, and I'm sure lots of the fans out there.
You son of a bitch.
Exactly. And please, hurry up and sell it soon, fast, before it's too late, although it's probably too late. Here's a fax. It's a fax of an American flag, and it says, it's from Nancy. It says, decisions of today are made to reclaim the visions of the past that still remain. Do you know what I have to say to that?
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? Does anybody have any idea what that means?
Once upon a midnight dreary,
yeah.
100 weak and weary.
Yeah. And how they doing at Coconuts Creek? 5670560, pound 560. See, MSNBC has no problem. Al Gore expected to concede officially tonight, and that's it. And they've suspended the recount committee, and it's all over with. Game over. But CNN, they just can't get anything right. And I start getting all bent out of shape here because I'm listening to them. Never again. I don't think I'm going to deprogram CNN from my TVs, all of them. They couldn't get it right if you stuck a Uzi up their ass. They stuck up Candy Crowley's ass. Of course, you'd still have a lot of room, I guess. Here's a lady mobile in Weston. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
I agree with you on both points that it was Al Gore's race to lose and that he has no shot in 2004 because of this.
He better not.
But because of that, I'm not so sure that this whole electoral rating that Cuomo came up with is really such a bad idea. I mean, it's not like anything else that's happened in this election has been fair on the up and up.
Very, 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 very bad idea. Very bad idea.
Okay, because?
Because, it's one thing to say the Bush people stole the election, but then to turn around and say, well, guess what, we're going to go and steal it back. That's not good for the country.
What do you think the most terrible ramifications of that would be? I mean, actually, I don't think it would be so far-fetched to think that two electors in this nation after this mess just voted the wrong way.
Give it up. No, absolutely not. Give it up.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
I beg you.
Okay.
Turn it loose.
Now, what if two independent people did it on their own?
Give it up.
You think so, huh?
Please.
No shot.
Say you're giving it up.
All right. I'm
Please.
giving it up.
Okay.
All right. I'm giving it up.
Thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
That was easy. All right. Oh! Bad idea. Believe me. Trust me when I tell you. I can't tell you too many other things that I believe very strongly, other than the fact that, a lot of things. But this one, I'm sure. In fact, it says, Al Gore expected to officially concede tonight. Is he going to concede?
Uh-huh.
You bet. Because anything less would be a grotesque, horrendous, grotesque act. In addition to which, I mean, how can you be that much for him? I realize I'm that much against Bush, but how can you be that much for him? Like the first guy says, oh, Al Gore in 2004 has a ring to it. Oh, yeah. A ring.
Bathtub ring.
Yeah, a ring around the collar. If the Democratic Party can't do better than Al Gore and Jew Lieberman, then guess what? They should just kind of fold up their tent right now, too. They should disband. They should just go out of business. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I think I have your answer on why the Florida Supreme Court set the date that they did. Because the problem is that they have a protest in the contest period, and they were trying to find a date where it gave enough time for the contest period to take place. So if they would have set the date too late.
Well, but why couldn't they give him another 5 days? There still would have been time for the contest.
Because Bush would have been, we don't have enough time now to protest all this, and they would have taken it right back up to the Supreme Court and said, they picked a date that they thought they could finish. Now, Broward finished. Palm Beach should have finished if they would have, they came 2 hours within, and Miami-Dade stopped counting.
It was very unrealistic. Over a Thanksgiving holiday weekend, sure, Broward worked all through the holiday. The other counties did not. They could, give them another 2 or 3 days because of the circumstances, because it was a holiday weekend.
Well, that's the explanation of why they were trying to give enough time. Because
it was very poorly thought out on their part. Very poorly thought out.
Okay, I just wanted to make one other comment about the Supreme Court. Before this all happened, I remember telling, my friends, well, I'm happy it's in the Supreme Court because these people are, honest people. And,
no, they're not. They're political hacks.
I know, but I was so naive that I was thinking, well, now it's going to be in front of people that are going to be impartial and are going to see the merits of this case and say, you know what, Bush, you're a son of a bitch, and you've been attacking all the courts down there to get your vote, to get the votes not counted, and they're going to be counted whether you like it or not. And they came back and did the total political hack thing, and that to me is the most disappointing thing. So
we'll survive it.
You will survive it.
Yeah.
But we'll take, we just got to vote. Get out there and vote next time.
Just don't bend over. Okay, pal.
Goodbye.
See ya. Yeah, just don't anybody bend over for 4 years because because it could be a danger lurking in your behind. 5670560 pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. How's that poll coming? Who's the most to blame for Gore losing this election? 83 votes so far. Al Gore himself 26. I agree with that. I don't know why I voted for the Florida Supreme Court, just to be different, I guess. Sure, he has nobody to blame but himself. He ran a crappy campaign. He picked the wrong guy for vice president. He was pretty weak in the debates, to say the best, to be generous. And then he started making up those stories about his dog had diarrhea on the floor, whatever that story was. Dumb voters 16, Ralph Nader 12, State of Florida 11, Joe Lieberman 6, U.S. Supreme Court 6, Teresa Lepore 4. Well, that's got a nice ring to it. 4 for Lepore, and the Florida Supreme Court 2. Let's spread the blame all around. And let's do it. Let's spread it all around. 21 before 11 at 560 WQAM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Pissed off gets me fired up when I hear someone say that.
From Imagine Entertainment, director Ron Howard presents an all-new holiday classic, Dr. Seuss's How the Gorch Stole Christmas.
Mr. Gorge, why are you stalling the election? Why?
There's more ballots that must be counted, Cindy Lou. If they're not, I'll just cry boo-hoo. The thick Democrat lied. He made up a story as he patted a tush and blamed it all on Governor Bush. The house on the hill of Mount Crumpet is mine. You see, Cindy Lou, my right is divine. He patted the head of the gullible Cindy Lou, who was no more than 2. He tucked her in bed right next to her dad, and before he left, he dimpled her Chad.
You're a mean one, Mr. Gorch. You really are a heel. You're a soulless politician who exhibits cloudy vision, Mr. Gorch. The 3 words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote, big, cry, baby.
1044 560 WQAM. Their motto at CNN ought to be, we may not get it first, but we sure can't get it right. I'm just furious with them because I keep getting sucked in by them and listening to this crap. Well, maybe he's going to concede, but maybe then he's just going to go out there suspending the recount and they're going to sit back and hope for something good, a Christmas present, some electors. Oh, anyway, the copy machine, the fax machine didn't show the rebel flag behind the American flag on Nancy's fax. That was the message. Sorry, Nancy, that we have a crappy fax machine, but it's the best one I could afford in our do-it-yourself studio. See, one thing that our morning sports heels don't understand, I didn't hear their show, of course, as usual, but I heard that last bit from Bifo there. They don't get it. See, people don't have to spend money, other than buying a radio, I guess, but that comes with your car, and most people have one in the house.
You could stand close to somebody else's radio.
That's right. You could like go on the beach and listen to somebody else's radio. It doesn't cost anybody any money to listen to your show, Bifo, or this show, or any other radio show. And they don't have to build a studio for you. In fact, even the Beasleys and Greg Reed don't have to build a studio for us, and quite frankly, they didn't do much. It's free entertainment. But with these athletes, not only do you have to pay these wild salaries with the ticket prices, but you have to build new stadiums and new arenas every 5 minutes. Everybody has to build a new stadium because the owners keep, we can't afford to pay these salaries. Well, who asked you to pay them? And so they keep turning to us, and then people like Wayne keep saying, well, we're not going to do anything because I'm trying to unload this turkey. So I don't care if it's good, bad, or indifferent because I'm just trying to get out of it. I want to bail out. So just keep spending the money, just keep showing up and subsidizing this crap, this swill that we keep putting out there for $60 a ticket. You know, the question is, how many times can you get slapped in the face and keep coming back? If I had to pay for those tickets, I'd go see one game a year. That's December 30th when the Leafs play here. That would be it. That's all I'd go. But I don't have to pay for the tickets. In fact, I take great exception to the fact that I have to pay for the sodas. I would sneak in. In fact, I'm going to start trying to do that. Sneak in my own sodas in my jacket. Yeah. Get a Diet Coke and put it under my jacket. Why the hell not? I don't want to subsidize Wayne Hypinga. That son of a bitch. He should put a big sign up there, a big billboard in front of the arena saying, hey, guess what? You built us this arena, but I still can't make any money. It's still a turkey, so screw you people. And by the way, don't forget to buy some crappy food on the way out. Because I need the money. We're all supposed to feel so sorry for millionaires and billionaires. And guess what, Hank? Josh Friedman, as much as I hate to defend him, he did have a point. And yes, it is partly about no textbooks in the schools and all these other. It's a question about priorities because there are only so many dollars in the economy. There's only so much money to go around. And if we can find creative ways to come up with tax schemes to build stadiums and arenas for all these billionaires so these spoiled, rotten athletes with their jockstraps can go in there and play games, then certainly somehow we can come up with tax schemes to buy textbooks and build new schools and take care of things that are supposed to be important. So, Hank, you're wrong about that, sweetheart. You're wrong, Humper. That's part of what it is about. Priorities being upside down. And poor A-Rod, he was just incensed. He just couldn't believe that Seattle only made him that crappy 3-year deal. He was insulted. You know what, A-Rod? To you, that's what I say. Take your $250 million and stick it up your ass. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Don't sound like...
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi. Listen, I just came in late, but I heard you were talking about Joe Lieberman, the worst running mate. Absolutely agree. That's what I said before. I said he's going to lose a lot of votes and people aren't going to talk about it.
That was like a death wish. That was a silent negative vote.
By the way, I'm Jewish. I'm a Bush voter, but if they would have counted the votes, I still don't know how it would have came out. But Gore should, drop out gracefully. But I don't know if he's capable of it.
He'll do it. He'll do it tonight.
Good. Good for everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Okay. Have a good time with Heinrich Himmler. He's Jewish, but he voted for Bush. And the hair on the back of my neck just stood up big. Oh, speaking of the hair on the back of my neck, maybe Miriam is around still. Do you think? No, she's gone.
I've tried.
No.
Tried every rose number.
I'm not talking about permanent. Maybe we can get a barber to come in here and cut my hair just once.
We talked about it on the air.
Because my barber, Mike is no longer at the place where he used to be, and he is on vacation for 2 weeks. Don't you think I need a haircut?
Yeah, I need
one too. Real bad? Huh?
No, your sideburns are a little crazy.
Oh. Maybe I'll just...
So where are our sideburns anyway?
On your leg? Right next to Regis's yellow tie. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon. See, maybe the reason that most Americans like that millionaire show is because the questions, most of them are from morons. Yeah, where do you find sideburns usually on a man's body? What color is Regis's tie? For the same reason they like that show is the same reason so many of them like Bush. They like dumb. America don't like smart. They like dumb. Who did they like the best in The Godfather? Don Corleone?
No.
No. Michael?
No.
Sonny?
No.
Fredo?
Uh-huh.
Fredo they liked the best because he was dumb. They could relate to him. Ron Jeremy. That's who they like. Do they like Peter North the best?
No.
No. They like Ron Jeremy better because he's fat, hairy, ugly, and dumb. They like Ron Jeremy. See what I'm saying? They like somebody that they can relate to themselves. Like they look in the mirror and say, oh, yeah, look at that. I'm just like that bozo. I'm a moron. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil, good morning to you.
Buenos dias.
Thank you for giving me a moment of your time here.
Time's up.
I really lost a lot of prestige for the United States last night. This vote was basically a coup d'etat without guns.
Right. Didn't I say that? It was a bloodless coup back on the 8th of November? I already said that.
This is basically what this was. And
as soon as the Secretary of Bush and the governor, as soon as his brother got on the phone, as soon as his cousin from Fox, as soon as all these people got on the phone on election night and told him, don't worry, the fix was in, then you knew that we just had a bloodless takeover.
And, I mean, first of all, this Supreme Court never has gone out on a limb and taken the rights out of states' hands. And I believe in what Ginsburg said, that this should have never come before the Supreme Court.
Now, who said that with Ginsburg? Oh, that's right. She was the one who said it. I just had a tough time understanding what you're saying.
The other thing is, I'm a young black male, college educated.
Yes, sir.
Done very well. I mean, I've gotten into the stock market under the Clinton administration.
I got into it under Mitch Hirsch, so
I'm not a big fan of Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
But I happen to agree with him 100%.
About what?
About this is basically a Dred Scott case.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said when I heard the decision last night. Dred Scott. That's what I said.
Maybe
I said, God damn it.
Basically what they're saying with the Dred Scott case said that certain people didn't count for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what they're saying to the voters of the state of Florida, your vote doesn't count.
Yeah. See, at least it used to be 3/5 of a vote. Now it's no vote.
That's right.
3/5 is better than nothing.
And as much as I disagree with Jesse Jackson on a lot of things, he's 100% right on this one.
Yeah. Well, he's a classic example. If you throw enough crap up in the air, some of it will hit the ground, you know.
The other last thing I wanted to say to you is I basically lost my respect for voting in this country because basically what they said to me is my vote doesn't mean worth a crap. I'm going to vote one last time, and that's going to be 2002.
Right, me too.
And it's going to be, I'm going to take all my frustrations out on
Jeb Bush. Right, nice going, pal. In fact, we're going to start the campaign right now. The anti-Jeb Bush campaign starts right now.
Anyway, only thing I have to say is I hope we can make it through this period. Anyway, thank you. You are a supreme voice for this community, and I thank you very much.
Okay, hang in there, pal.
All right.
See ya. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. That asshole over in Fort Myers from that Skyline Aluminum, stop wasting my fax paper. We can't stand you. We don't want to read your scrawly handwriting. Stop wasting our time and giving us advice on life from over in Fort Myers. Go get you a passport somewhere and go like to Mexico and find out what life is really all about. See, that's what really cracks me up about the yahoos in this country. All those nose pickers who live in Aintree all their lives. And, of course, one thing about yahoos, most of them don't get generally too far from home. That's why their whole existence is so, if you pardon the expression, parochial. Because all they know about life is like within their own little narrow universe. Like from here to about 2 blocks up the street. And that's it. If somebody would just kidnap them and put them on a plane and just drop them in the middle of like somewhere, you know, and hopefully not bring them back, we'd be doing them a tremendous service. And ourselves, too. 5670560. How's that poll coming? 133 votes. Who's to blame most for Al Gore losing this election? Al Gore himself, 54, and that's what I should have voted because that's the correct answer. Eleanor Clift. Oh, I'm sorry. Al Gore himself, 54. Wrong answer. Have you seen that show?
No.
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Going out on Friday nights.
With who? Jackie Big Germont?
Wrong!
Al Gore himself, 54. Dumb voters, 20. Ralph Nader, 16. See, I'm not buying that. As much as no, you can't do that. Ralph Nader should have been a pimple on the dimple on the ballot. State of Florida 14, U.S. Supreme Court 11, Drew Lieberman 8, Teresa Lepore 8, and the Florida Supreme Court only 2, including me. Well, I'm glad somebody voted for them. Spreading the blame around is always good. Works here at QAM. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, a couple of interesting calls while I was on hold about the Jewish guy who voted for Bush.
Oh.
When is this all going to end?
Jewish for Hitler, baby.
Been such a trying time for all of us. You know, you're so right on about so much of what you're bringing to people, and hopefully somebody out there is listening. But there's a silver lining to all of this. One thing that rings to me is Al Gore, please, no more.
Right, no more Gore. No more Gore in 2004. I like that.
Yeah, no, I think the good thing here is that what's happened is so repulsive that hopefully somewhere along the line people are going to wake up and say, hey, we've had enough of this. Gore has shown us what he is. Bush has shown us what he is. The Republican Party has shown us what they are, fighting over this thing, stealing elections, doing all these kind of things.
That's right.
I think maybe public apathy will get shaken up to the point where somewhere along the line, maybe within the next couple of years, and I don't have the answers, third party, I don't know, but something where the public says, like Roberto Duran said, no mas. We've had enough. Enough of this crap. We're tired of the candidates. We're tired of these underqualified, ridiculous people that they're putting up to be put in office. We're tired of the way that the parties try to steal everything and run everything their way. And as a final thing before I go, A-Rod will get what he deserves because the Texas Rangers will probably win about half their games.
Right.
So he'll be the highest paid mediocre team player that hopefully...
Let me just say one thing. If you're going to command big money, then you have to be able to justify it. In other words, he's got to be able to make that money back. There's no way that he can make that money back for that franchise. There's no way.
Absolutely. So I think this is what the public will see. And like you're talking about, I agree with you. Stop going to the game.
Yeah.
Stop filtering the money into these people
Absolutely.
And allowing them to pay these ridiculous salaries. It's up to the public to boycott this situation because if they don't have the money, they can't sell the product.
And they're already doing it.
Well, I think, again, it's shame on us. It's our mistake. I wouldn't go to a ball game if you gave me a ticket because I would have to believe that somebody paid for that ticket. Your idea is sitting at home watching the dish to choose from 5 games? Why give these people money?
Absolutely.
And if you stop giving them money, maybe it'll stop the flow of what's going on.
You got it. Thanks a lot.
Have a good day, buddy.
I'm watching last night in the Boston, the Fleet Center, those yellow seats disguised as people, or is it the other way around? Fans disguised as empty yellow seats. Thousands of them. Then they had the game over there in Long Island, the Islanders, and there's nobody there. There's like maybe 3,000-4,000 people in there. They have an ice problem at the end of the second period, about a 40-minute delay trying to get some ice back on the cement there by the goal. And by the time they got through with that, maybe there were like 800 people left in that place. So it's already, even before the last nails in the coffin, they're already self-destructing. So who the hell are they kidding? And somebody faxes me a thing about Unisys e-voting in Brazil and how the Brazilians are light years ahead of us and they solved the problems with all the corruption and all of the elections by putting in computerized voting. How do you like that?
In the Banana Republic of Brazil?
In the Banana Republic of Brazil. Even the Brazilians know how to do it better than us. How do you like that?
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station. WQAM.com for the world.
This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain being chopped to bits by a finely honed meat cleaver. This is your brain in a blender. And this is your brain being stirred into a big pot of chili. Brains. Real food for real people.
It's 11:01 at 560. Let's get some of that real food up to George W., okay, since he's going to need all the help he can get. Here's one of the greatest faxes I ever received. I'm not going to read it. Well, no, I mean, it goes on about who's at fault for this and the Tea Party and Lieberman, the debates talking. It says, Heil to George W. Castro. Like your show, but your noises make me nauseous. Signed, George. My noises make George nauseous. Not this George, but whoever sent me the fax. That's the part I like in your fax, George. And have a nice day. I'm sorry that my noises and my faxes make you nauseous. 5670560, pound 560. Gore expected to officially concede the election tonight. Life will go on. We'll survive. We've had other dumb presidents before. 8 years of prosperity and good times. Now let's see if this guy can give us as much bad times as Papa did. Let's see if Cheney... In fact, I'll guarantee you Eddie K. is working on the overs and unders right now for Dick Cheney. How long is he going to survive this thing?
Why is the NASDAQ down 53 right now?
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? This is what's really depressing to me. I mean, I'm already saw the news last night. I'm very upset about it, but I figure, okay, well, at the very least, look for the silver lining. That's my philosophy. Try to find some good in even the darkest cloud. Huh? Like even Anne Frank said, boy, it sure smells good up here. You always try to find something good, even how depressing everything else might be. And the Dow, which was up 143 points earlier, it's up only like 28 now, and the Nasdaq's down 53 points. Just to piss me off, that's why. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm also trying to find a positive in all this mess.
Sure, let's look at the bright side, like Monty Python say.
But, and the one thing that I could come up with, and I'd like to direct this to all the Republican friends that I have out there that think that they're on the winning side today. It's going to be quite enjoyable watching the Republicans run our economy back into the ground.
It is?
I mean, and I think once we do have Bush as president for 4 years, we may possibly never have another Republican administration. It's just ridiculous. These people, they're all caught up in this tax break idea because the economy.
Well, it's not going to happen. I mean, there will be tax cuts, but not what he was talking about because he doesn't have the Congress to do it for him.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
And a lot of people, they've been doing real well for the last 8 years, and their incomes have doubled and tripled. And, the greed factor has set in, and they don't want to pay their taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a real kick out of watching, some of these incomes shrink by 50 or 60%, and then we'll see how they feel about getting a tax break.
Well, but, in the meantime, you think maybe the Democratic Party could come up with a real candidate in the next 4 years?
I would love to see it, Neil. I think it was 2 callers ago. The guy made a lot of sense about the apathy and, the fact that people are going to get really sick of this and say no mas. I had a thought while he was saying that maybe, and this is, again, looking for something positive, maybe we will find a real, person who can run for president with some intelligence and, some ideas that, that maybe something good like that will come from it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cross your fingers and your legs.
All right.
Oh, here's another fax from it says, the last fax from that asshole over at Skyline Aluminum in Fort Myers. How come there's so many assholes in Fort Myers, George? Do we have any idea? I think it drips down from the Beasley headquarters in Naples, or Estero, wherever the hell that is. Huh? Yeah, they're pretty hysterical over there. It says, listen up, a-hole. I write this with the marker so your kindergarten misspelled kindergarten brain can read it. Oh, another Army veteran. Oh, boy, man. Another Army veteran. He must know Sergeant Luke Skywalker.
So how come he's in love with the deserter?
Huh? Oh, I don't know what I'm not going to read it. I don't even know what he writes. He just keeps writing crap. Quit wasting our fax paper, you jackass over there in Fort Myers. Get a life, you idiot, you moron, you simpleton. And have a nice holiday. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil. Good morning.
Buenos dias, sir.
You should know by now that Fort Myers is the asshole capital of Florida.
Is it really?
Just ignore everything that comes from that way.
Huh.
Maybe there is one positive.
Someday, like this morning, I was driving to work and there was this aroma in the air, and I knew I didn't do it. And I thought, man, it smells like rotten cabbage or something. The wind must have blown straight from the west.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there might be one positive thing coming out of it.
And what is that, sir?
Maybe it'll get enough people off their dead butts in the state of Florida to get out and vote next time.
You think this is going to make people more likely to vote after all of this mess?
I'd like to look
more
at the
likely?
positives. I'm sorry.
That's a good poll question for them all.
I'd like to look at the positive side of life. Do no harm and always look at the positive side of things.
Right.
People right now are writing books and are investigating and gathering information for all the crap that's going to hit the fan in the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm anxiously looking forward to some of the dirt they're going to be digging up and putting in print, putting on TV and the radio.
Now, I'm curious, when the Herald comes in there and they count the ballots in a couple of months, whenever they're going to do that, what standard are they going to use? Are they going to be counting dimples and pimples and chads and swinging chads and hanging Chad Everett and that? What are they going to be doing?
They'll be doing the Republican thing.
I don't think so. They endorsed Gore.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But I've never liked the Miami Herald.
No, I hate the Herald, but I'm just telling you. I'm not saying what for any particular purpose, but I'm just curious what standard they're going to use.
Who knows?
Only God knows.
Neil, God! Only you know?
Exactly.
Neil, I'd like to thank you for all the good stuff you've been doing on the radio. Keep it up and also continue with the great shows.
Thanks.
Thanks, Neil.
See ya. 567. See, everybody's in a pretty optimistic mood, except that now I talked that woman some sense back in her, the one that was hoping for the electors. We don't want to be the thieves. We don't want to be the thieves, the ones who try to find some way. I mean, how could you possibly live for the next 4 years having that happen? No, he's going to concede tonight. That will be the end of it. Now, I realize for some of you, it's just like when the O.J. thing finally ended. It's like when Alien finally got on a plane with Poppy and went back home. These things can't go on forever. I know it kills a lot of good time, and it's sure a lot cheaper than taking up an expensive hobby like stamp collecting or something, but, then we have to have closure. Sooner or later, we have to have closure, as in close your fly, because people are laughing already. That's what they say at Coconuts Greek High School. So when are they going to start smearing that salve on the coach's rectum? He might actually enjoy it. See, this is part of American culture. How dare us sit here and attack all of these, masculine, virile guys like dicking around. I shouldn't have said that. They like diddling around with other guys. They like holding them down and diddling around with their privates and with their asses and paddling and beating them until their cheeks get real red. That's what they like.
That's a gay club, you moron.
Like I said, that's what they like. 8 minutes after 11 at 560, WQAM. Now they have a great S&M leather bar over there in Amsterdam you might like. It's called, what the hell? Oh, it's called the Stable Master. Yeah, it's right up the street from the Al Goldstein hangouts. The Stable Master. What's wrong with it? They got, like, leather stuff. I'm not into that myself, but Jeff Cohen probably would like it.
And now the Red from Reich Marshal delays headquarters in Washington, the Jim Baker Singers.
Have yourself a fascist little Christmas. Christmas all the right. Say to the new Republican forthright. Have yourself a fascist little Christmas. May you find a day. Perhaps a nigger had tied it to your truck's tailgate. And have yourself a fascist Christmas filled with faith.
Merry Christmas, Link.
Yeah, old General Bohat, I can assure you I will.
Very well. See to it that you do.
I'll delay.
What is this man doing here?
11:13 at 560 WQM. Here's another great fax from Myra. It's the same one as the one from George before. Word for word. And at the end it says, you're very intelligent. Sorry, your noises make me nauseous. Here's a great fax. Well, it's a great article by Maureen Dowd in the New York Times, as always, and worth actually taking a couple of minutes. Chief Justice Rehnquist will hear argument now on number 00949, President-elect Bush and Vice President-elect Cheney versus Albert Gore Jr. et al. Justice Scalia, Mr. Olson, the legal predicate that seems to have slipped your muddled mind is that recounts are only triggered if there's a problem with the machinery, not in the case of voter error. Come on, Ted, do I have to plead your case for Bush as well as hear it? Justice O'Connor, well, Mr. Boys, why can't those ninnies down in Florida simply follow the instructions for voting, for goodness sake? At the Chevy Chase Club, my friends have been asking me why people are too stupid or too slack to punch a hole through a piece of paper, why they even deserve a vote. Justice Scalia, that's it, Sandy, baby. Suffrage schmuffrage. Chief Justice Rehnquist, Mr. Boys, you fail to grasp the concept of equal protection for the conservative justices who want to retire. I'm 76. Sandy is 70. We started out long ago working our hearts out for Barry Goldwater, and we're pooped. My back is killing me. But we can't leave until we install a Republican president. Al Gore would replace us with that hippy-dippy Mario Cuomo or that flower child Larry Tribe or some minority who actually cares about the rights of the dispossessed. Justice Ginsburg, Mr. Boys, may I call you David? I love you. Justice Scalia, Ruthie, zip it up. Mr. Boys, as surely you've noticed by now, I'm the big brain here, so I'll explain what should be res ipsa loquitur, not to mention a priori. We stopped the vote counting because if we did not, Al Gore might have won. Then I never would have had a chance to be Chief Justice. I put up with so much hokum when they upheld Roe v. Wade, when they made all-male military academies admit women. I became bitter and marginalized. Never mind Al Gore's due process. What am I do in this process? Mr. Clock, if I may, Justice Brandeis, Justice Scalia, I'm Scalia, dimwit. To continue, it may look hypocritical if the court's conservatives suppress the will of the people and install a states' rights president by federal fiat. I know I've spent my career fighting against muscular assertions of judicial power, but now I see that judicial tyranny, judiciously used, can be a good thing. I don't believe in making laws from the bench, but making presidents, that's different. Hey, whoever said the Constitution's engraved in stone anyhow? Text is important, but so is subtext. Why should I prop up a pathetic Paul who vilified Clarence Thomas and me during this campaign? This court is riddled with conflicts of interest. Clarence's wife, Ginny, is over at the Heritage Foundation, gathering conservatives' resumes for possible appointments in the new administration. My son's a partner at Ted Olson's law firm. Another son just got hired by another law firm working for Bush. But if I had rescued myself, there would have been a tie. If I had recused myself, there would have been a tie. And then those radicals on the Florida Supreme Court would have been affirmed, and President Gore might have made Ruthie the chief. Justice Thomas to himself, if this thing runs long, I'm going to miss trailer park nurses and room servicing on the Spice Channel. Justice Stevens, de novo, delightful, de lovely. Why don't we just devise a standard to count all the votes? Justice Souter, I know the Bushes are furious at me. That'll teach him to assume that a guy living like a monk in an isolated New Hampshire farmhouse is some kind of live free or die nut. Justice O'Connor, Mr. Boys, while we're on the subject of irreparable harm, if you're aware that if I side with you, it could put the jeopardy and membership of my husband John in the Bohemian Grove. He does so enjoy his week of stag frolicking and drag shows in the California Redwoods with President Bush, Cap Weinberger, Bill Buckley, David Rockefeller, and Henry Kissinger. Chief Justice Rehnquist, we're dropping in the polls on the question of fairness, but we still need to anoint Bush president. It's best for us. We'll just have to work harder to hide the truth that we're driven by the same petty human emotions as everybody else in this town: ambition, partisanship, political debts, and revenge. Mr. Clock, how true, Chief Justice Holmes? Cute. Bad reading on my part, but I was trying to go fast. Cute, Maureen Dowd in the New York Times. Here's a call from Westchester. Hello. Westchester is gone? Probably dropped their Guayabera. Here's Hialeah. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
Could be doing better myself. Excuse me. I'll drop a name. Excuse me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll drop a name for you who could be a possible presidential candidate for the Democrats in 2004. Robert Torricelli.
Yeah.
New Jersey senator.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Italian. He's probably got some good connections.
He probably does. But anyway, what I wanted to say originally was...
Probably a little bit too liberal for America, though.
Well, he was on the Fox report last night, and he was making overtures toward conservatives. I think he was one of the first guys who came out and called for Gore to concede.
Right.
And he really wasn't 100% behind Gore during this whole fiasco we just went through.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, what I really wanted to say was the American people are content with being jerks, okay?
Yes.
I don't think the outrage, especially those who voted for Bush, they don't understand what's going on here or what's happened here. They should be outraged.
Outraged about what?
An unelected body has determined who the President of the United States is going to be.
Well, I mean, once Florida screwed it all up, who was going to determine? What was the legitimate way to?
See, the thing is,
how do you legitimize a bogus election? How do you do that?
But see, the thing is, I don't know. I don't know if it was bogus or not. We
sure it was.
In what way?
In every way. I mean, between the butterfly ballots and between the people who weren't allowed to vote, it was a fixed election. Now, how do you legitimize it?
So you take a look at the ballots. You
take a look at the ballots.
You at least have some sort of...
Sir, don't you understand? Don't you get it? That, first of all, if they were going to re-examine the ballots, let's say they give them another week, and they said, forget about the safe harbor deadline of December 12th. We'll go at least till Sunday, the December 18th deadline for certifying the electors. Okay, we'll give you another few days. Don't you realize that they would have had to go back to Broward and start all over again counting those ballots? Because Broward used a different standard from Palm Beach. Broward counted the dimpled ballots.
I don't know if it was...
The Florida Supreme Court would, if they did set a standard, they certainly would never have set a standard where the dimpled ballots could be counted. You know that.
Okay, but...
You can't you can't psychically vote your way in. You can't do that.
I understand.
You can't have a tarot card reader with ballot cards saying, "Oh, this one looks like this was their intent." You can't do that.
But see, that goes against the very core of the philosophical underpinnings of the Republican Party. They're all for local rule. They're all for...
But why are you arguing that? Look, both parties are for whatever is expedient to them at a given time. That's what they're for. Just like the Democrats were they were psychotic over the Republicans ripping apart the Florida Supreme Court and attacking them because they didn't like the rulings. Now the U.S. Supreme Court has issued a ruling that the Democrats don't like, and now they're ripping the U.S. Supreme Court.
You're right. I mean,
they're doing the same thing the Republicans were doing to the Florida Supreme. The parties are interested in whatever is in their interest.
I understand.
That's what they're interested in. Not you, not me. They're interested in them.
I understand, but the
Power.
Supreme Court has never before determined the outcome of a presidential
election. Well, they
election.
have now.
And that's troubling.
They have now. And
that's
the only reason
troubling.
it's troubling to you, sir, because you fail to understand. The only reason it came down to this is because the Democratic Party put up a candidate who was capable of winding up in this mess. This should have been a 93-0 rout.
Well, we know he would have routed Bush in Florida had it not been for Nader.
Oh. What in God's name was that I was just talking to? What was that? I could have had a conversation with my golden retriever who's as deaf as this pen I have in my hand, and he would have gotten a better response. At least he would have wagged his tail and smiled. You just don't want to admit it, sir. You just don't want to face it. You don't want to deal with facts. It's a bogus election. You just witnessed and participated in, as I did, a bogus election. Get over it. That's it. That's what you got. In spite of all the propagandizing, in spite of all the brainwashing.
That's the American fucking way.
And it's not the first one. Believe me. And living here in South Florida, we ought to be getting pretty used to it by now. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one thing that you had indicated before was that you didn't understand why the Supreme Court set the time schedule it did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not an attorney, but I read the explanation that they sent back to the U.S. Supreme Court yesterday. And I'll quote what they said in 2 lines. This court released its original opinion on Tuesday, November 21st, 2000. The November 26, 2000 date gave the counties no more time to complete the recount than what they would have had if the division had not forestalled their efforts. The November 26, 2000 date was not a new deadline, quote unquote, and has no effect in future elections. It was simply a date in accordance with the requirements that had been established prior to the election and in order to construe all the provisions of the code as a constant or consistent whole.
Mm-hmm.
So their explanation is logical, and in fact, if you read it, they had a very elegant response, and I thought, having read their response, that
well,
would have an impact on
you may
the Supreme
find it
Court.
logical, but the fact is that it was ineffective.
Oh, exactly. I thought it might have had some impact, but it didn't. Anyway, prior to the election, my view of this whole thing was whoever wins loses, because what you have now is you have a situation in which people are very unhappy about what happened, and I think that the Republicans are in for it in the future because of the fact that they appear to have stolen the election. But the sad thing is the Supreme Court shot itself in the foot. They should have allowed some kind of account, regardless how it came out, and then at least you could have said, okay, they at least have some credibility. The Supreme Court lost its credibility in what they did. But anyway, on the article that you read, Maureen Dowd, she thought she was writing hyperbole, but she was actually writing the straight truth.
Yeah, right.
And which is absolutely amazing. So in any case, my view of what should have been done if they wanted to have a standard, it reminds me of what happened with my daughter when she was 3 years old, knocked off a crystal vase and broke it. And when we asked her how that happened, she said it did it by itself. And in effect, what you're having is you're having the Supreme Court and others looking at these chads and saying, oh well, it couldn't have happened. It didn't happen. It had all these odd circumstances. If you take a virgin ballot, there's no mark on it at all.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is compare it to a virgin ballot. If there's any mark on it, then it should count. If there's 2 marks on it, then it shouldn't count.
If there's any mark on it?
Any mark on it.
Like a thumbnail?
Any mark on it. It didn't get there by itself.
Yeah.
It didn't get there by itself.
Oh, you're in a dream world.
I understand, but I'm saying that if you look, you have to apply a certain standard.
Well, that standard's unacceptable.
I understand. I understand the arguments against it. But I'm just saying you have to have something.
You're saying it like it's fact. If there's any mark on it, you have to accept it. The answer is no. Wrong.
Any mark.
Okay, say it again to yourself. Here's a great fact. Schmuck. See, what did I tell you? You can't please either side now because I'm telling you the truth and you're a bunch of emotional cripples won't see it and you can't handle the truth. Schmuck. The Florida legislature created a voting standard, clear indication of voter intent. The Florida Supreme Court affirmed it in its latest ruling. Perhaps it was too general, but they were in a catch-22. If they defined the standard, they'd be accused of legislating grounds for reversal. Face reality, the fix was in. Didn't I just say the fix was in? But I'm the schmuck.
Say it again.
No, and in fact, I told you on November the 8th the fix was in, and now it's December the 13th, but I'm the schmuck. The 5 fascists picked the next president. Democracy has been usurped. The voters' will has been pushed aside as about 45,000 decisive undervotes go uncounted. Unbelievable. Bob Butterworth for Florida governor in 2002. F. Jeb Bush. Bob Butterworth they want. How do you like that? There's a good broad-minded guy. Yeah, Bob Butterworth, as if we didn't already have enough bad experience with him in Broward County, another fascist sheriff. Yeah, this is a Gore person. You see, you people will never learn your lesson. And you're talking about fascism? This is why, I'm going to say it again, both, and I know most people out there get pissed off too bad because it's the truth, both major political parties blow with a capital BL. They blow. Bob Butterworth, my fat, old, faggoty Jew ass. Isn't that incredible? Maybe we can get somebody a little bit more progressive, like maybe Ken Jenney in there. 26 after 11 at 560 WQM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Well, all right. Yeah. It's got to be because I got people running to my friends. People I never thought about associating with. I don't know. Check it out. Diamond relax with gators on my sleeve. I got some pepper every day upon me. My hair is done, my fingernails too. 6 buttons down and I don't know what to do.
So anyway, schmuck, it's 11:31 at 560 WQM. Yeah, I'm the schmuck. See, this is a good thing, all these elections, because you can't please anybody. Either not sufficiently partisan on the one side that you're for, or because you're on that side, then you're a piece of crap, because you're not for their pick guy, for their schmuck. No, I'm not the schmuck. The schmuck is the one who's going to concede tonight at 9 o'clock. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. What's the audience say? Who's most to blame for Gore losing this election? Al Gore himself, 99. How do you like that? Out of 228. Dumb voters, 41. Ralph Nader, 25. They're still clinging on to that. State of Florida, 19. U.S. Supreme Court, 16. Drew Lieberman, 11. Teresa Lepore, 10. And the Florida Supreme Court, 7. Here's Cape Coral. Hello.
Yes, hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to talk about this awful thing that
this awful thing.
Right. I know that Gore doesn't have any charisma, but as far as being qualified, he is head and shoulders over the other guy.
But that's not what elections are in America.
Well,
all the money that it costs and all the TV spots and the debates. It's a popularity contest.
Right.
It's a a dog and pony show.
But Bush likes to use baseball terms when he referred to that guy as a major league asshole. Well, I hope all the Bush leaguers are happy now because now they have a Bush League asshole in the White House.
Yeah, that's good. Bush League asshole. I like that.
He's a perfect Bush League asshole.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And the guy that calls me the schmuck, let me just also point out with your 45,000 uncounted votes. Let me point something out to you, sir. That as they were counting, like in Dade County, Gore had not only not picked up any votes in Dade County, he lost 42 net in Dade County out of the first 4,000 they've counted, with pimples and dimples and baubles and bangles and beads. Yeah, he was 42 that he lost in Dade County. So the idea that the fact that you assume automatically you know how those 45,000 votes were going to come out, I hate to break the news to you, but we don't know. And maybe we will never know. And maybe the Herald will know, or some other news organization will know when they decide to go in and count, depending on whether they're counting dimples, or like the guy said before, if there's any mark on there. If you blew your nose on there, or God forbid something like that was on there, you got to count that too. Yeah, you've heard that expression, when the Schmidt hits the Chad. Yeah, they got to count those too. I mean, it's one thing to be partisan, which I certainly was, mostly from a negative standpoint about Bush. But, I mean, you have to face reality. They stole it. See, politics is a dirty game, boys and girls. I hate to break the news to you. And the dirtier politicians were the ones who won this time. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
Neil, I keep hearing people say that now we're going to get behind the Republican prince.
I'm not.
I think you got to be crazy.
In fact, I want to stay as far away from him as I can.
Yeah, listen, the Democrats are never going to accept Bush. Never. If he takes power by the will of the majority and the strength of privilege, he'll never be respected. The Democrats are not going to accept royalty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And they're going to fight. They're going to fight him tooth and nail for what they consider to be a corrupt
they're going to give him the same brutal time that the Republicans gave to
worse
for 8 years.
Worse, because he didn't win the election.
Yeah.
So he has no right to be there. He did not win the popular vote, and he stole Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And all he did was stop the counting, stop the democratic process.
Yeah.
How can you respect a man like that? Somebody has got to, power
well, let me ask you this.
the
Let me ask you
people,
this. If they keep comparing it to a ball game, if you were ahead by 3-2 in the middle of the 8th inning, would you want to stop the game then?
Yeah, but
if you
can't.
Find
if you do, it's not a good game.
Well, if you could find that the commissioner of baseball, who's an asshole anyway, Bud Selig, called him up and said, "Okay, stop the game. I just ordered it." You'd say, "Okay, great, nice ruling."
No, you wouldn't. It wouldn't be a valid game.
They don't care whether it's valid or not.
I know, and that's the problem.
Don't you understand it, sir? They stole it. He is an illegitimate president.
He's illegitimate. That's it. The government by the people shall not vanish from the earth. That's what we have to fight for. It's government. It's power to the people, and that's where power should reside, not in the Supreme Court.
Click.
Oh!
5670560, pound 560 on the AT. That last guy thought he was going to have a stroke, or maybe just start stroking it, or maybe he already was. Just calm down, will you please? Just calm down. I've been trying to alert you to the fact that they stole it fair and square for over a month now, and you just don't want to get it. You don't want to understand it. It's a horseball system. It's a badly flawed voting system from the Stone Age with punch card ballots and with these overseas absentee ballots from Yenemsveld that came in from interplanetary mail service. Who the hell knows where they came from? How many fixed elections do you have to live through before you finally begin to understand it? It's corrupt, baby. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about them. Oh, but the Supreme Court and the media on there. Oh, yeah, well, the public really trust the Supreme Court. They really believe, No word yet on when George W. will address the nation. Oh, look at that. He's drooling. He's drooling right now. Look at that bewildered. Look at that look. That bewildered look again. There he is, like the deer in the headlights, like the aardvark in the headlights. Wow. He's saying, I can't believe it. They told me they were going to make this happen. I still can't believe it. A moron like me? I mean, it was one thing to get him through Yale, but this. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Yeah, it's all about the money, baby.
Show me the money, man.
That's it.
That's what A-Rod said.
Yeah. Well, we've got it shoved down our throat. People ought to face the facts that this is how it is in America.
Just sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, we've been enjoying it since Mr. Reagan was in there.
Well, we survived that.
Well, we did.
We survived 4 years of Papa Bush.
We'll probably survive this, too, but it won't be prosperous.
Well, good luck to you, sir.
You were talking about a popularity contest, and if you remember, when Mr. Carter was president, tried to rescue the
Hostages in Iran, yes.
Exactly, and then Mr. Reagan was voted in right after that when it failed.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you, it's a popularity contest, whoever blows the most smoke.
Well, thank God the Democratic Party keeps coming up with those great candidates like Jimmy Carter and Walter Mondale and Michael Dukakis and Albert Gore and Jew Lieberman. Thank God for the Democratic Party. That's what the Republicans are saying. 21 before noon at 560 WQAM.
Oh my God, if you play Hank Goldberg again, I'm going to fucking throw up.
I believe poor as well as the rich, women and men alike, citizens of every race, creed, and color, all are equal. They are equal, that is, so long as all of their votes choose me. If the people do not in the end choose me, I would then commit to contest this inaccurate and incomplete count in order to ensure they choose me. This is America. Recount after recount. God bless America.
Hey, that's a little bit of tonight's concession speech. 18 till noon at 560 WQAM. Hank Goldberg will be here at 2 o'clock. Boog Shabby at 6. Panther preview, baby. 7 o'clock tonight, and the game is at 7:30. The Panthers at the Red Wings. Wow, that could be really, really ugly. And then 8K after the hockey game. But, of course, don't worry, because the Panthers can lose like the next many, many games in a row, and their jobs are safe there, everybody, because Wayne is trying to unload the team. That's the real story. I mean, why don't they just come out and say that? Just keep showing up, and, of course, all you suckers that bought the season tickets, are we going to give you any money back?
No.
Give you a rebate?
No.
No. We're going to give you our foot up your ass is what we're going to give you. And they did, and these people, they just can't understand all those empty seats and why the people aren't coming back and why people aren't renewing. I'm not just talking about the Panthers. I'm talking about professional sports in general. It's dying over here. Other than professional football, which they, between their television contracts and salary caps and a lot of other things that they have going for them, they finally figured out how to do it right. But other than that, the NFL, other than that, you can take professional sports, it's all dying over here. Which, of course, on a sports station, that's, well, what can I say? Here's Miami. Hello.
Now.
Yes, sir.
President-elect George W. Bush, okay, you big maricon, mariconzón, Singapore culo. Maricón. Singapore culo, you sorry ass.
What was that? What was that at the end? Oh, I thought I smelled it. One of yours. 5670560, pound 560 on the 18th. And like I said before, this is so delicious to me. All you bush lickers out there, all you Anglo bush lickers, which all you can dream and think about is how much you hate the Cuban people, because this is the stereotype of what you think is the Cuban people right there, and you're in bed with them. So might as well lay back and enjoy it. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
I'm a rage. I had never been this mad in my life. I'm really mad. The big loser is going to be United States in this year. We're going to become the laughing stock of the world.
No, we already have. You're a little bit behind. We already have.
And I tell you, this is going to be the beginning of the end for democracy in this country.
Really?
From what I see.
Huh.
Anyway, like I said, I call you there every once in a while to joke around and everything, but this election is almost like a cop.
I thought the beginning of the end for this country for democracy was like November 1960, November 22nd.
Well, Neil, this is almost like a cop holding you in the middle of the street until the light turns red, and then he's going to give you a ticket because the light is red. I mean, they stole this election outright, and anybody that feels, I don't care if Bush would have got elected, got in the right way, but not like this here. Not like this here. The votes got to count. Any veterans that went to war, you don't even have to be a vet. The right thing is that every vote should count, regardless, and it didn't.
Well, what do you mean veterans? The veterans are a big part of Bush's constituency.
No, but that's a lie. Look at the way Harris used the veteran vote. They say, "Oh, that Bush this here," when she herself done it, and it's true though. I'm a vet, and if I didn't sign that ballot in any way or whatever, then it should be considered illegal. I shouldn't have no special privilege. Okay.
Okay.
Listen, Real, God bless you, and I love you.
God bless America. Okay. What do you say about his vet? Did what? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. So what that spick say? Besame culo, something like that? Singapore culo. Oh. Bugalon. Here's a lady in Fort Myers. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
you know, if anybody out there thought with Bush running this was going to be a fair process, you're stupid and you deserve to be duped. You know, I don't know. It's, you know, it's like, I can't believe that this country is full of that much stupidity. Well, I mean, I can't believe it.
Well,
but,
take a look at the candidates we just had running for president and vice president. That should tell you.
you know, the people that were passionate about getting the votes counted by hand,
Yeah.
it's like basically we've been fighting for our rights, and guess what? We lost. And, you know, that's the American way. You know? Why are people so ignorant to the fact that you know, we're totally brainwashed here, you know? And it's, I don't know. You got to protect yourself. I think that's what it is. You got to protect yourself against that kind of stuff.
I think you got to put yourself
Stop
in.
eating shite and saying it tastes good, you know?
Right, exactly.
I'm just so fed up.
Well, you
I mean,
got
I
to
was lucky. I didn't live here when Bush was in.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not that lucky this time.
We'll survive it.
I hope.
Get in that lockbox. I'll let you know when it's safe to come out.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Yeah, we got to all go into a lockbox. Oh! Although I never did like locks even with my bagels. Boy, look at all the faxes coming in here. Look at that. Looks like W finally stole it. May God help us. May God bless us all. Yeah, it says here Saturday Night Live will be fun to watch again. That's true. In fact, you got 4 years. You're going to make that Clinton stuff pale into insignificance. Here's a call from Syracuse. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
How are you, Neil?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just calling to tell you something and try and inform you of something you might know already. It took me a while to get your 800 number. I was calling all over the place. I called Beasley and so forth because I
Beasley
on computer.
Uh-huh.
The reason the Supreme Court possibly might have rendered a obtuse decision is because their holiday began yesterday. Holiday to be off.
Sir, what are you talking about?
Supreme Court.
Yeah.
U.S. Supreme Court. Well, they were in a hurry to be off. They were supposed to be off yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't, what am I talking about? Was that clear?
In fact, I was just going to ask you that. Thank you for saving me the energy of asking, what are you talking about?
Well, I just...
So in other words, you think they should have taken a little bit more time? Is that it?
Yes.
Like how much more time?
So?
Like till maybe January 21st would have been good?
No, it wasn't a thought-out decision.
Yeah.
I believe you said that yourself.
I said what?
You said they were. It wasn't thought out. There were a lot of brief.
It didn't have to be thought out. Okay, the 7-2 part about the equal protection under the 14th Amendment, all that bullcrap, that was just window dressing. They had to come up with some part of it that wasn't so partisan, so that it might be palatable or acceptable, which it was not, sir. It was still 5-4. There was nothing to think about.
Sir,
5-4. The same 5 Nazis that voted last week. The same 5. Don't call me again and waste my time on our expensive out-of-town line, sir. We're paying by the second. And Greg Reed ain't too happy about it.
Only $50.
God, what was that? It's bad enough we have to talk to people over the age of 100 from down here, but some old crusty fart in Syracuse? God, wait until Governor Pataki finds out about him. And by the way, Governor Pataki, go back where you came from. We don't need you and Mark Goofball out here from Montana.
Roscoe.
No, Rasico. What is his name? Roscoe?
It's spelled Rassicot, but it's pronounced Roscoe.
See, he don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's such a moron.
It's a frog name.
And he's going to be Secretary at Defense. Not Secretary of Defense, but Secretary at Defense. You saw the ranch down there. You see all those animals around by the fence?
The fence right by Yellowstone where they shoot the buffaloes.
567-0560. That's what I said last night when I heard the news. Ah, shoot. Pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I won't finish the rest. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Bush may try to keep covering up the alcoholism and the cocaine use. If that abortion scandal comes out, the shop might hit the fan.
Yeah, then we got Dick Cheney. We got a guy with a weak ticker, man, who may crumble any second.
Yeah, then who comes next? The Speaker?
Yeah, I think, Mr. Speaker, I think Tip O'Neill.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, let's put Tip O'Neill's body in there. What do you say, speaking of drunk? Come on. Oh, wait a minute. 1 second. This is perfect. Every once in a while you fall into a bucket of crap. One moment, please. Put some crap on her for a second. Play some of that music. Just briefly. Okay, that's enough. Here we go. The new president, folks.
Patrick McGinty, an Irishman of note, came into a fortune and he bought himself a goat. Says he filled with goat's milk, I aims to have me filled. I hate the Irish. But when he brought his nanny home, he found it was a pill. Now all the ladies that live in Killaloo, they're each wearing butts like their grannies used to do.
You know, the guy that called yesterday about term limits, he was absolutely correct. 2 years and out. Get lost. These political empire builders, they got to go. They have got to go. Just like college football coaches, they got to go. Give them a limit, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. Bring somebody else in. You're out. Go get a real job. All these drunken, these thieves, these scoundrels, these assholes that are raping the public, spending our tax money like it's coming out of a Farrah faucet somewhere. Time for a goddamn revolution in this country is what it's freaking time for.
Uh-huh.
Anybody believe in it?
No.
Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
I'm doing okay.
I want to thank the Republicans for one thing. They gave us a great excuse not to serve jury duty anymore. I cannot determine the intent.
Yeah.
Well, they said you can't determine the intent of a ballot.
Uh-huh.
People determine the intent every day of the year when they go to court. I mean, I can't determine the intent of a murder. I can't determine intent. You know, that's all you're doing.
Yeah, but now we have that new brain fingerprint machine. We won't have to do that anymore. We can just read people's minds, or we can get the tarot card reader in there instead.
I also hope Catherine Harris gets her ambassadorship, get her dried up ass out of this state.
I hope they give her the ambassadorship to the
Third
moon.
world country.
To the moon. Have a
Have a good one, Neil.
Okay. Yeah, maybe she can be up there with Alice at the moon. As a matter of fact, you know what would be a good place for her?
Cock-a-moon.
That would be good. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. The busty Secretary of Bush. Wouldn't it be great? I mean, we already found that the older, was it the oldest or the younger son? The younger Jeb Bush son, not the Mexican, not George P., but whoever, the Jeb Jr., banging that chick in the car outside the shopping mall up there in Tallahassee in broad daylight. Remember that a couple of weeks ago? Yeah. Maybe Jeb and the Secretary of Bush can do the same thing right up there in front of the legislature. Because what's already just happened to us is about as pornographic as it gets. And wasn't it Chief Justice Warren Burger years ago who says, I can't define pornography, but I know what I see it. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We've just seen it. We've seen it, we smelled it, we heard it. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Stick it up your ass, tulips. Go.
5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Out of town line, 877-785-6345. Here's a lady mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I guess I'm going to have to get a life now.
Yeah.
I never, called a radio show before all of this started. And I think the main reason that I kept on and on and on with this story is the Supreme Court. And when I heard Scalia the first time, my heart just ran cold. It was like, oh, my God, if we have 2 or 3 more of them, of him, we are in trouble.
It's a lie. I am not a Nazi.
Yeah. Sure.
So, thank you. And like I said, that of all of it, that's the part that really concerns me the most for our country.
We'll make it.
All right.
We'll survive.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
You'll learn to goose step. You'll love it. Good. It's good for your bowels. Yeah. Keep smoking. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. I'll say it again, all you bush lickers out there, hope you have a wonderful life with Pat Robertson and with Jerry Falwell and with Tom DeLay and with Trent Lott and with Strom Thurmond and with Jesse Helms and with all your right-wing Cuban friends. I hope you have a wonderful life together, including that Maricon that called before, that Bugarron, who's still rolling from what I hear.
This is 560 QAM. Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station, and WQAM.com for the world.
Esa es la chingada manera de George Bush.
George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit.
All right.
George Bush Jr. Jr. is a piece of shit. Georgie Jr. is a piece of shit.
Are you sure?
The rich spoiled brat and the cocaine junkie. What's he gonna do with all that campaign money? He don't give a crap about people going hungry, but don't confuse him with the facts. We can't find your rap sheet, it just disappeared. We're looking all over and it still ain't here. Hey, Georgie Jr., where's your rap sheet go? Are you afraid that we'll find out that you did blow? You were a rich college kid, a drunken party punk, and you got pinched for possession of drugs. But a rich bitch like you can hire a judge to get some Ajax Splendor and a big red sponge.
Oh.
George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. Georgie Jr. is a piece of shit. One more time. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. Come on. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. George Bush Jr. is a piece of shit. Georgie Jr. is a piece of shit.
You turd. Come on, don't you think the new president who's going to be inaugurated in just a couple of weeks, don't you think he deserves more respect than that?
No.
Here's the facts, again, proving that you can't please anybody out there. That's right, Neil. Only the Democrats are smart, honest, law-abiding, and all the other wonderful compliments we can muster up today. Have I said the Democrats are lawful and wonderful? Haven't I said 8 million times today that both parties suck and the Democrats are the ones responsible for running all these crappy candidates? Didn't I say that? It goes on to say, if the tables were turned, the actions and responses wouldn't be any different. I'm a Republican and proud of it and voted for Gore, but I'm so sick and tired of the mentality of the people that have called your show over the last several weeks, especially today. If you think these people are the intelligent votes of this community, you're sadly mistaken. The Republicans are not all hateful people. You talk about hate. What the hell do you think your show represents today? I'm trying to think of the hate we had. I got that one that Bugaron that was calling in, and then the other guy with the hit-and-run artist, which I don't even know what the hell he said. Those are the only two hate calls I can recall. Huh? No, you're right, sir. Republicans are not all hateful people, just most. Just most. And the people who get sucked into it are too naive to understand what the Republican Party has become and what it's really all about. This is not new, but it's cute. Old, but cute. Secretary of Bush will be the ambassador to Chad. And that would be a good place for her. Sure hope you don't catch anything over there. How's that poll coming along? Al Gore, he'll be speaking to the country 9 o'clock tonight to concede. I lost. They stole it fair and square. Have a great life. I'm going now. That's what he's going to say. You know what Joe Lieberman's going to say?
Oi!
Oh, that's right. He's going back to the Senate. See, he covered his ass. He knew the fix was in. He said something about, I don't think this election is kosher. Here's a mobile in Tamarack. Hello.
Neil, I don't understand why the Democrats are so up in arms over this when George Bush is going to nominate the first black Secretary of State.
Woo!
And Chief of Staff. How come they can't get behind?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, no, let's get over it and let's get behind this administration.
Wait a minute. It seems to me that J.C. Watt from Oklahoma, he's a black too, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, go check it out, you moron, you jackass. You're not sure? He's as black as the ace of spades, and he's a right-wing piece of crap. So just because of somebody's skin color, we're supposed to be happy about that? You idiot. You simpleton. You Neanderthal. You Republican. 5670560, pound 560. See, no hate in the show today. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll check again. Maybe I'll look at him again. Plus, he's a former football player, for Christ's sakes. You ought to know that. That's the least you ought to know. Something about jockstraps. Here's a lady mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil. It's Bobby Hyman.
Hi, Bobby. Oh.
I was so nutty with this election that I made a phone call to the Supreme Court because I was so pissed at Sandra Day O'Connor saying that what kind of voters are these that don't know how to vote? In the meantime, I've been voting for 40 years. Nobody ever told me to clean the back of my ballot.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever told you that?
No, nobody ever told me to scrape my
they
tabs.
keep talking about that. About cleaning off the back of your ballot.
No, I live in Broward. In fact, I hear that scraping your Chad in Broward is illegal. That's what Sheriff Jenny said.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, I called the Supreme Court. I was going to try to get her email, and they were still in session. But anyway, the other thing was last night or this morning, I started thinking about how no lawyer, nobody that seemed to be a specialist, thought that the United States Supreme Court would ever take this or even hear it.
Uh-huh.
And then when you start thinking about, they immediately ran to the U.S. Supreme Court, and a year ago, Bush Jr. made a comment that the two people on the Supreme Court that he liked was Clarence Thomas and Scalia.
Tony Scalia,
and then Scalia's son is working.
We know that, Bobby. It's old news. It's old news.
Yeah, but I know. I can't seem to. It's so horrible when you think maybe it was a setup.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to think that way, but
you think maybe it was a setup?
Yeah.
Just starting to sink in now.
Yeah, it just hit me. Would you believe it? That's how I think.
We'll survive, Bobby. Just calm down. Take two and call me in the morning.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow, a little bit whipped up to a frenzy. Oh, my God, just calm down. We lived through Gerald Ford. We lived through Dick Nixon. We lived through Reagan. We lived through Jimmy Carter. We lived through a whole bunch of bumbling idiots. 8 years of Dwight Eisenhower and all that interest he had in world affairs. And John Foster Dulles. Just calm down. The way these people get all whipped up into a frenzy like it was all that important, like we had some great choice here, like we just had some phenomenal exercise in democracy, which we did not. We just had a rigged election, okay? Now what? What's next? Vengeance. Am I going to have to dump you again today?
I didn't say anything.
Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing today?
Okay.
Listen, the only thing that I've gotten out of this is that I have a real need to start getting involved in politics as a whole now because of what I've witnessed now.
As a whole?
Yeah, I mean, as a whole.
Politics as a Chad?
Yeah, as a Chad. I voted for the first time in a long time this election thinking that I might have something to say about it, one man, one vote kind of thing.
Yeah.
Only to watch it be stolen away.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I can think of is that it's time for another Thomas Paine Common Sense 2001.
Yeah.
And the first thing I think that needs to happen is that the media needs to get pushed out of the electoral process completely, other than as an objective observer.
Oh, objective observer? When's that going to start?
Yeah, I know. Not in my lifetime, but at least we can try.
The people at CNN are still trying to figure out what that decision meant last night. They still haven't got it right.
Well, the most hilarious thing I thought about the whole election process is the night that it was all going on, not one of the network TV news stations could come up with a vote tally that was similar to the network news station. I mean, none of them were in concert with each other.
Yeah.
They didn't have the right numbers. They didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
The declaring, like you've been saying, the declaring of Florida before it happened, which everybody knows was a setup. If this doesn't spawn the American public out of their apathy and start getting them more involved in their government as a whole,
it's going to do one or two things. It'll either do what you just said, or it's going to drive them back into a cocoon.
Yeah, and I hope not, because this country, we have a lot of potential, and if we allow this to happen, it's just like it's like we never had a revolution in the first place, and we've just coronated another king.
Okay, I'll see you at the tea party.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Bye. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
I don't give a shit anymore.
Every week on CBS, exciting adventures unfold on Chad. But this week, you'll see something that's sure to bring the level of excitement to an even higher fever pitch. It's Jag, Rudy on deck. Rudy, the 72-year-old former SEAL from Survivor, makes his network acting debut in Jag, in a move sure to boost the ratings.
Is that doing you a favor?
Jag, Rudy on deck, lets you see what it's like when an ill-tempered old man comes face-to-face with Catherine Bell and her other female co-stars.
Watching the way they walk around hand in hand, I even thought about lesbianism.
It's Rudy from Survivor as he finds out what it's like in the all-new Don't Ask, Don't Tell Navy.
When I go home, my wife asks me about who was with you. I'll say a queer that ran around their ass half of the time, for one thing.
Watch as Rudy and co-star David James Elliott bond during a long sea voyage.
Not in a homosexual way, that's for sure.
If the ratings go up, will Rudy become a regular cast member on Jag?
It could happen if they had any brains, but I don't think they got enough brains to do that.
That's Jag with a J, only on CBS.
Exactly. 12:13 at 560 WQAM. Here's a fact that says, speaking of George W.'s dad, can you imagine George W. sitting at a dinner with other world leaders? They'll be wondering to themselves, if his dad puked all over the Japanese, what's his son going to do to us, huh? Yeah. Hey, they'll have a rip snorting good time no matter where he is. Just point him in the right direction. 5670. In fact, they said, hey, listen, he's going to be traveling all over the world to get an education. Very soon after he gets inaugurated, he'll be taking the powder. Who knows where he'll be going. And then, of course, that Dick Cheney. Wow. Dick rhymes with tick, as in tick, tick, tick. You can just hear the heartbeats. Can you hear it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, I'm a first-time caller.
All right.
The first thing, when I think about this election, I think the word should be hypocrisy. You know, you got Bush when he was out in Texas, and he signed a law saying that recounts would be okay.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, you know, they were saying last night to make it, this is like really rubbing the salt in our wounds. If we had the same law in Florida that they have in Texas dealing with recounts, that we wouldn't have had any of the Supreme Court stuff last night. The Florida Supreme Court could have ordered the recount. They would have done it because the law in Texas specifically says what constitutes a valid, which includes dimpled and pimpled, etc.
And then you got our Supreme Court, the majority who voted, all their lives, what they've said is they're champions of states' rights.
States' rights, except when they want to make an exception.
Right. They want to get their own conservative in, so they're going to turn their back on everything they've stood for their whole life.
That's right.
And then the funny thing at the end is our local Cuban supporters. All the time, if you look at it, it's been the Democrats who've been opening their arms. It was Kennedy and Johnson back during the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It was Carter during Mariel.
Yeah.
So it'll be really kind of a funny situation if they've elected a guy who goes ahead and shuts the door on their relatives coming on over.
Well, don't confuse them with the facts.
You know, but it just it's really a situation where anybody who looks at it has to see that the powerful Republicans used every level of power at the national and state level to steal this election away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of disgusting.
And don't forget George W. He trusted people.
Yeah, he sure does.
Okay, have a great day, pal.
You too.
Okay, thanks to our buddies at Tony's over there for their great lunches that we hit. 25, 30 pizzas in here to get my agita worked up again. Well, I feel like having agita. Tony's at 192nd Northwest 2nd Avenue, is that correct? What did I say, 193rd Northwest 2nd Avenue? That's what I said. No, that's what I said. Close. Hey, just look around. You'll find it. It's great. Great stuff. What's the number for 654-9133? 9113. Or something like that. Don't be picky now. Let's get the food out. You get that Brad a little bit too carried away, okay? He'll start turning into another, what's his name? I don't want to mention their name too much. Yeah, because then, I've noticed the good thing the last couple of weeks, I noticed that I can actually come into work now and they're not sitting out there in the hallway blocking the hall off. Scott and Ira, I don't want to mention their name on the air too much. I mean, they're okay, but when I found out that they're that tight with Defoe, like Peter Leonard. I used to like Peter till I saw him embracing Defoe in a hallway with their tongue down each other's uvulas yesterday. That just made me want to puke. Here's a call from Orlando. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
Yeah, two things. Everybody keeps on saying steal. When they do the recount and just hypothetically Bush does win that, will you stop saying steal the election?
No.
You won't?
No.
Why not?
Because that's not how
You're a sore losing hypocrite.
Oh, blow it out your ass, okay? Don't ask a question if you don't want an answer, moron. Sore losing hypocrite. I'm not the one that's sitting here whining. I already resigned myself to it. They stole it fair and square. So what's your problem, moron? You're like a little child. Nah, we won. What did you win? You got a Dumbo in there to be president for 4 years? Boy, I sure hope it helps your sex life. Something like that. Well, I'm getting ready to eat. I'm getting the important stuff. All these people are getting worked up about this crap. They stole it, like I said yesterday, a whole bunch of different ways. But you being a politically brilliant guy up there in Orlando, which I hate to break the news to you, but Gore won Orange County. Did you see that? He actually won Orange County. So you better watch it, pal, because you got some people a little bit to the left of Attila the Hun moving and surrounding you up there. All your old fascists there, your good old Christians that are running around closing down the strip clubs and closing down this place and that place and trying to run around like, what's her name, with a bottle in her hand, Carrie Nation. God. Yahoo, that's the name of the state, is good old Yahoo. And all you brainwashed Republicans out there, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the repression. I hope you enjoy the suffocating feeling. Because while he's up there getting a good noseful up there in the White House, that's why he wanted in there. He heard it was the White House. That's why he bought the Texas Rangers. He was snorting up the baselines. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. See, it doesn't make any difference what numbers come out now. The fact is the election was stolen. Period. Anybody who wants to be even a little bit, least bit on it. In fact, I think that when W finally makes his speech after Gore concedes tonight, he's going to say, I want to thank the Vice President for graciously allowing us to steal the election. Nothing wrong with that. Because that's the American effing way, is stealing elections. You great political sophisticate up there. Here's a mobile in Vero Beach. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, sir.
It says clear intent of the voter. To me, when a canvassing board member is holding the ballot up to the light and feeling the back of it, that's very unclear at best.
I agree.
Not clear intent.
I agree.
The second thing is, I think whoever wins it, obviously, is Bush. Even though I voted for him, it's going to be bad because I think it's just so close that it fell within the margin of error. So whoever would have won it, it's just a human error that it's like a technicality.
That's right. They're telling us the machine recount, the error rate is 2 to 5%.
Exactly.
And then we're going within like 1,000th of 1%. I mean, what's the point? Let's do it again.
Right. I agree. Let's just do a revote.
Yeah, it'll kill another good 3-4 months anyway.
Have a good day.
You too. See, there's a guy that's not all bent out of shape. He voted for Bush, but he's not a prick. You know, why can't more of you be like him? And me. That's right. I'm sitting here enjoying a nice free lunch. What the hell's wrong with you people? So loser, man. Don't blame me for Jew Lieberman, man. I had nothing to do with him. Or Gore. Were either one of those people my choices?
No.
Did I defend either one of them?
No.
Or their performance in the debate?
No.
Or their ability to...
No.
No. They both sucked. That's why they lost. That's why they were in a position to have it stolen. You can just hear all the muttering behind the closed doors. Oh, look at this. They're actually going to put these two losers up against us. Now we can really go in there and steal it because it'll be close. You can't steal an election when you lose by a landslide. But you're running against totally incompetent candidates and it's going to be really razor thin. Then the opening is there. It's like leaving the lid off the cookie jar, and instead of putting it up on top of the refrigerator, you put it out there on the goddamn table at waist level. Like an open invitation to come in and stick your hand in it, and the jar too. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Yes, Neil, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, because I'm inside a parking garage. Neil, you're so right. I'm a first-time caller. And, we put up, unfortunately, a weak candidate. I voted for him. Of course, I couldn't vote for mediocre Bush, but I voted for Gore, but he was certainly not someone I was excited about. And never really did get the Democrats enthusiastically about him. What I was going to make is this. I just have to comment, watching or hearing some of the Supreme Court stuff. And Clarence Thomas, I mean, what a joke this guy is. He doesn't comment. He doesn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
He doesn't join in the opinion.
No, he's just sitting in the back of the room smoking a big fat doobie. That's what he's doing.
Just rubber stamps.
Right.
Whatever Scalia and Rehnquist and
you got it. Yeah, just like the guy that called in before about they're going to appoint the first black Secretary of State. I'm glad you brought him up because there's a classic example. Just because somebody happens to have dark skin doesn't mean he's somebody we can trust or we can be safe from.
That's correct. And he certainly doesn't in
As
any
a lot
way...
of people in convenience stores have discovered over the years.
And in no way shares the opinion of his black brethren who, of course, overwhelmingly voted for Gore.
Amen.
That was my point.
Which is why so many of them were turned away from the polls, as we should mention.
That's correct. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks. And watch out for deep throat and crime.
Hey, there we go. Hey, y'all, my name is Clarence Eugene Thomas, President Bush's nominee for the Supreme Court. And, you know, there's lots of people out there that think just cause I smoked a little marijuana when I was in college, and it wasn't nothing but a pen joint, well, maybe a cigar-sized joint, I don't remember, y'all, that they don't think I'm fit to be on the Supreme Court. Hey, I got the munchies. Let's do this quick and get out of here. I want to set y'all straight. When I stop reviewing the law, I don't just review the law. Hell, y'all, I'll be toking. Oh! And I toke it to the east, and I toke it to the west, and I toke it while I look up Sandra Day O'Connor's dress. I'll be toking. Let's go burn one, y'all.
Yeah, what's wrong with another black Supreme, huh? Supremes are all black. What's wrong with that? A coup d'etat. Look at that. Gert sends me a fax. There's Bush and Papa Bush. And there's that fascist James Baker. And there's the Secretary of Bush. A nice montage here that Gert put together. It says, everyone in the power structure who knows anything has plausible deniability. There are no compromising connections except in the most secret point. But what is paramount is that it must succeed no matter how many die, no matter how much it costs. The perpetrators must be on the winning side and never subject to prosecution for anything by anyone. This is a coup d'etat. Nice going, Gert. Got a little choked up over it, but nice going. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Miami Shores. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I don't know how you're going to take this. I've been sick today. I haven't listened to you in a while. I voted
Don't
for
make
Ralph
me sick,
Nader.
too. I don't want to catch it. What?
I voted for Ralph Nader.
Well, I wouldn't say it too loud.
I can feel proud today because I voted for a guy I had convinced.
Why do you feel proud?
I'll tell you why. Because Ralph Nader had said in the beginning, neither one of these candidates care about us as much as more about caring about winning.
Yeah, well, you see, God is punishing you, which is why you're homesick today, sir. God is punishing you for your naivete and for wasting your precious American vote on an old bumbling dunderhead who had no chance to win. And if we wouldn't have had those 98,000 votes for that candidate in Florida, we wouldn't have had to go through this grotesque exercise, and they wouldn't have been able to steal the election for the Secretary of Bush and Papa Bush and Jeb Bush and George P. and all the other Bush people. So shame on you, sir, and I hope you feel better soon, but not too soon. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Al Gore will concede 9 o'clock tonight. He'll do it in that same, what's the word I use for him?
Pedantic tone?
No, well, I mean that, but what's that word I got? Oh, Christ. Well, that too. That'll come to me. Something
NASDAQ
like
down 55.
Huh?
NASDAQ down 55.
Yeah, so?
I thought this was supposed to be all good news today.
Well, what do you get? What is wrong with you? Do you have any stocks on the NASDAQ?
No, but it's an indicator, isn't it?
Indicator of what?
Of how things are going.
What was the NASDAQ down yesterday?
It was up.
No, was it down 83 yesterday?
I thought it was up.
Down 83 yesterday.
Like I said.
Mr. Stock Expert. You know something? You ought to hook up with Mitch Hirsch.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. A match made in purgatory.
Hey, I'm doing better than he is with mine.
That's true, and of course so is almost anybody else. So our 5-year-old children. 567. Hey, don't blame me. Blame Rimmer, okay? He's the one who hooked me up with that loser. And how's that Xerox doing while you're at it, Rimmer?
Loan me $50.
26 past noon at 560 WQAM.
Oh, my God, your breasts are beautiful.
Tonight at 9 on the Food Network, it's Emerald, Dice Clay.
Okay. So tonight we're going to kick it up a couple of f***ing notches. What the f*** you clapping for, honey? I ain't cooked yet.
Chef Emerald's Ice Clay, leather-studded apron and all, shows you how to do things in the kitchen you never dreamed of.
Today, I'm going to show you how to smoke fish. Where's my f***ing zip bubble?
And nobody reads a recipe like Emerald's Ice Clay.
Jack and Jill went up the hill to make themselves some stew. And just like an oven, Jill needed some loving, so he put his meat in there, too. Oh, is that genius?
It's the hottest cooking show on cable.
Hey, take a look at his foot long, would you? Come on, baby. You know you want to grab my wiener.
That's Emerald Dice Clay, right after Iron Chef.
Bunch of f***ing snapperheads. You can blindfold these people with dental floss.
Only on the f***ing Food Network.
Oh, she didn't say Iron Chef, did she? I'm sorry. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello.
That was good.
That was great.
Good afternoon, sir.
See, here's the guy that's laughing already. God, I must be doing a public service. Thank God for me.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Rogers, this is the second time I've called you. It occurs to me, it'll take some time, but these people are going to have to calm down.
Yeah, you're right.
And use their head.
They're getting me psychotic, and I really, at this point, I'm over it. You know, what's to get psychotic about?
Yeah, well, one of the things I believe you've said it many times already that has to be changed is the voting system. They have to go to this ATM system. It's
right.
almost foolproof. It's idiot-proof.
That's right.
And another thing that I was thinking, and you mentioned him, and I don't know if you've said this, but I couldn't think of a possible candidate to run against Bush in 2004. But perhaps in 2002, maybe if that brilliant attorney who was up in Leon County.
Gerald Richmond.
Yes.
He's got my vote for governor.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
I love Jerry Richmond. And I'm going to say it again. All these people that are whining about this election, if they would just take a look, Ileana Gross, Layton, and Rosanna Dana, one of the most inarticulate, one of the most mindless, babbling fools who's ever set foot in the Congress of this country, and she's representing South Florida. And here's a brilliant, articulate, thoughtful guy, and he's got to be up there arguing a losing cause in court in Leon County. What a sad day for America.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, sir.
Good luck to us.
Yes.
Yeah, see all you ethnics out there, all the Jews that vote only for Jews, and the Cubans that vote only for Cubans, and the Chinese that vote only for Chinese, if we had any Chinese, which we don't. That's the problem with America. Don't confuse us with the qualifications. Don't confuse us with what this guy's all about, or if he ever stole a freight train, or if he's a cheap drunk, or anything like that, or a hypocrite, or a liar and a thief. He's one of us, so therefore he's got our vote. Not that I want to mention Dade County in that context, do I?
Yes.
Oh. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yes, long-time listener, first-time caller.
All right.
You were talking about the Republican hate. I was watching one of these political pundits on one of the networks the other night.
A pundit, yeah.
And they said that they did a very extensive national poll, and it was amazing how so many of the Democrats didn't want to vote for Bush because they felt he wasn't qualified, he was too conservative.
Right.
But almost to a person, the Republicans actually hated Gore.
Right.
They thought he was the Antichrist.
Right. The Republican Party is the party of hate. That is correct.
And if you talk to some of these Republicans,
just take a look at James Baker's
spew at you.
Uh-huh.
That's all they spew at you.
Right.
It's hate-mongering. I mean, they don't give you any real logical reasons why they voted.
Listen, I've been asking since Election Day for one person that would call this show. That's over a month ago now. It's like 5-6 weeks ago. I've been asking on this program why anybody voted for Bush. I had one person who was honest enough to give me the reason. That he said he's basically what it boiled down to is he's a bigot. He can't relate. No, seriously, he can't relate to the kind of people who voted for Gore, meaning blacks and who are Jews and gays and whatever else. And so at least he was honest enough to admit that he's a bigot. But what a commentary that is.
Right, and I'll tell you the biggest embarrassment for me as a Cuban American when I talk to some of these Cubans down here, the reasons that they give you for why they vote Republican, you got to roll your eyes and say, where the hell is this guy, is this guy's mind?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, everything from one guy even said to me, well, the reason that we need to get a Republican in there so the price of gas will go down. And I said to him, you really think OPEC is going to drop the price of oil because George Bush takes the White House?
Yeah, George Bush and Dick Cheney, two oil guys, right?
They give you these reasons that you got to walk away shaking your head.
No sé si ir al baño o darle cuerda a mi reloj.
Right. Okay, good luck.
Thanks, Neil. You're God.
Hang in there. Yeah, there's a poor guy. Now, we did have 25% of the Cuban people who voted for Gore in this town, and probably a couple for Nader, and 1 or 2 for Che Guevara, whatever the hell it was. So just keep that in mind. Not all Cubans are right-wing fanatics, just most.
Too many.
Far too many. Not all old Jews are feeble and can't vote right. See, I don't want to rub the salt in their wounds up there in Palm Beach County. But how would you feel now that everything is lost? Not only not having gotten your vote count right, but voting for Hitler Jr., huh? Wouldn't you be like borderline suicidal at this point? And I noticed lately we've had an epidemic of people jumping off bridges there, which I don't want to encourage that because it screws up the traffic for many hours at a time. In one day alone we had 2 people. One gave it a good shot and the other one she's muerto, finito. Won't see her no more. How about a good civics lesson, or a good refresher civics course to teach American people how to vote? How about getting in some real voting equipment? How about getting computerized machines like they're going to do over in Hillsborough County? Even the yahoos in Tampa put us to shame. And I don't hear anybody, I don't hear David Leahy, I don't hear whoever's going to be Jane Carroll's replacement in Broward. I don't hear anybody talking about, well, let's clean this up and start doing it right. Because you know about David Leahy.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. His name ought to be changed to David Lackey. Here's Daytona. Hello.
Yeah, well, they don't want to fix the machines because then we might know who won.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, last night on CNBC, the Brian Williams, when it all broke a little before 10 p.m., Brian Williams is going, the guys are running with the papers, and Brian Williams is screaming, reversed, reversed, reversed. You know, and
but isn't that amazing that at least they got it right?
Well,
CNN an hour and a quarter later, they still had their finger up their ass and couldn't get it right.
Well, it was reversed and it was remanded.
Right.
Back to the Florida Supreme Court.
But CNN missed the reverse part.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they really, if the Florida Supreme Court had any balls left, and they've been beaten.
Just like Duff was at the Dolphin game on Sunday, and one of the plays he screamed out, "Greg, it's a reverse! It's a reverse!" Yeah.
Well, if they didn't have any, their balls are all smashed now. But if they had any left, the Florida Supreme Court could say, "All right, you've remanded it. All right, we'll give you a standard. Here's the standard. Start counting again."
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna happen.
But they only had like an hour and a half left, you know.
But as they would say, it's a free snow day. When Bush is in, we get one free snow day.
That's true.
And hey, Hannibal, go Panthers!
Al Gore expected to concede. Now they have this headline. They'll have that up there all day. Yesterday they had, the decision could come at any moment. That was both on CNN and MSNBC. Any moment. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Squirt.
Any moment now. You can almost smell it. Well, I know it's their mix hour. They're on Power 96, but do they have to do it so that the walls shake in here?
Yes,
in the middle of our lunch hour, so that our kishkis are churning. I've already got my GERD, my IBS, and my old age, whatever all these things are going on.
They just can't spin if they don't recreate the club atmosphere, you know.
Oh, I see. I got a club for them, same one that OJ used, I think. Seriously, how is it possible that that's going on? You know, the walls are trembling in here.
We're small potatoes over here on the AM.
Sounds like we're doing a goddamn show in the middle of a clothes dryer. But do we care? Am I upset about it?
No.
No, because I'm in a pretty good mood today. I'm having a nice free lunch here from Tony's. Thanks, Brad. And life goes on. Market's in the crapper. Yeah, see, that was another big lie from all my good friends. I don't want to get Ted David pissed off again. Another big lie. Oh, the market wants Bush. The market wants Bush. Yeah, well, so far you got Bush, and the Dow is... it was up 143. Now it's up only, what is it? Was it up or down?
56 up.
But the S&P is down. See, the Dow means nothing. The Dow is 30 stocks. Do I have those 30 stocks?
No.
No. The S&P is down a couple, the NASDAQ's down 58. So for all the great excitement that Bush was going to bring in, so far it ain't working too good. He hasn't even got in there yet, and already he's not, like I was trying to tell you before when you were arguing with me.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Hail to the George Bush Empire, rulers of America with the K.
Yes.
Christian whites will lie, the new force fly. Let's fire up those ovens right away. All your civil rights must be surrendered. Along with the gold filling in your teeth. Those who don't obey will be packed into great grain, here into the Bush dynasty.
What is this man doing here?
Lieberman's a little hard of hearing. He thought he was getting all excited when he thought they said something about his tefillin. They were talking about his golden fillings that they were looking to get their hands on. 17-1 at 560. WQM, we got that Goldberg show at 2, Boog Shabby at 6. Big night tonight, baby. It's do or die, but don't believe that. They keep telling that to us. Oh, if the Panthers don't win tonight. Well, of course it's a big lie because they want us to keep showing up and come to find out Wayne is close to unloading the team, which we pray. Oh, Baruch Atah Adonai, sell it soon. Please. But in the meantime, they're leaving us dangling out there in the wind, and he doesn't want to do anything or make any changes because he doesn't give a crap anymore because he's unloading it. Just like with the Marlins, same old crap. Right here, the Grinch who stole Christmas, the Grinch who stole sports, the Grinch who stole our enjoyment, that's Wayne Hypinga. Piece of turd. Just what we always get here in Florida. You're hoping for the best, you're hoping for Santa Claus, and you get Wayne Hypinga, another piece of crap on 2 legs.
Shipping internationally. Next time use FedEx and be absolutely sure.
Hello?
You ever see that spot where the Japanese are sitting around the table and the businessman in Texas? Oh, I didn't say no jerky. I sent you those steaks 2 months ago, yeah. And they're all going, they're all doing a George Bush, Papa Bush. See, now we have to distinguish between W and Papa. And then, of course, there's always George
Squirt
P. Yeah, let's all go up to Tallahassee and watch George squirt pee. Here's a mobile invoker. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now listen, I'm not going to hold any grudges. I voted for Gore.
Yeah.
But I understand why Bush is he had to steal the election.
Uh-huh.
However, my only prayer is for poetic justice. Ralph Nader should only have a giant, debilitating stroke.
Okay.
So he will never screw up another American election.
Too late.
And it wouldn't hurt for Donahue to have one also.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think Marla would agree, yeah.
Absolutely. She's embarrassed to death.
You bet.
God bless.
In fact, she'll probably dump his old ass anyway pretty soon. Okay, thank you,
You
sir. Yeah, not that we wish you any ill, Nader, but die pretty soon. A wicked death. In a lot of pain.
He already had a stroke. It just wasn't debilitating enough.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's why he's got his eyes that half-masked, and he tell you like he's got a numb lip.
Who's that? Ralph Nader's got a numb?
That damn faggot. I can't stand him.
Here's a mobile in Lighthouse Point. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
You know, it doesn't matter who really wins this election. The bottom line is nobody's going to have respect for this president.
Right.
And this president will not be supported in the House or the Congress.
That's going to be our poll question tomorrow. Which would you rather have, a lame duck or a lame dick?
I'd go for the duck.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I would also like to say that, you know, they tell you to vote where your heart is. If somebody felt that Nader should have been the president, that was their business. I wound up voting who I believed in, and my guy didn't even run. I voted for a guy that's not a career politician. I voted for Jesse Ventura.
Yeah.
And whether people agree or disagree, that's where my heart was.
Well, that's what I'm going to do in 2004 before I leave this town. I'm going to, that's my absentee ballot. I'm going to put in for Jesse.
And also, I just wanted to say that why don't you become like all these other Panthers?
And Verizon line. Let too much of him get on the air. See, I'm a little slow today. I didn't realize who it was.
Another dick in the White House?
Oh, God.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. It sounded kind of whiny. It was him. It was the Antichrist Jr. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out-of-town line is, oh, look at this, a call from Atlanta. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. How are you?
All right.
I listen to you a lot when I'm down in Florida.
Excellent.
I want you to know something. In Atlanta, you may not know about it. In Georgia, the blacks was intimidated up here, too, as well as in Georgia and Florida.
Yeah.
But I voted for Gore, as well as everybody else did. Well, you know how it's going to work out with us up here.
Oh, yeah.
But I enjoy your show. I'll be down in Florida Friday.
Okay.
I'll listen to you then.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Hang in there. Of course, now, see, when you talk to dark folks, hang in there is not a good expression because the hang part, they start getting nervous. Now that we got these people in there in power again. Oh, there's Al Gore.
That the American people have ever wanted.
He just waved. Bye-bye. Yeah, or maybe that was old foul footage. He was going, bye. Something like that. In fact, if he was smart, which I don't know if he's really all that smart, but if he's smarter than I think he is, for his own sake, he should be very glad. He's probably going to be saying, better you than me, George, under these circumstances. And I would certainly agree with that. Because there is going to be enormous, all this talk about, well, he's going to work with the Democrats and we're going to have unity. Oh, yeah, right. Uh-huh. Just like we had the last 8 years with those Farbissen, with those miserable, obnoxious, hateful, right-wing. But see, there you go again. He can't control himself. Keep saying those things. Is line 5 ever going to get fixed, George?
No.
Oh. Thanks a lot, Duff, for line 5 and also for the noise in the hallway, which he's out to lunch now. Don't be messing with Bluff. He can't take care of all our little problems.
Duff, get off this instant.
Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to just share what I like, what I hate. And it may not
let's have
sound...
a hate fest to make that guy happy that wrote the facts. Let's hate today.
Yeah, well, the thing is that it doesn't sound real important in the overall scheme of things, but when you work a long day and you come home and you want to sit down and relax and watch a show on TV that you've been watching since its beginning...
And then they interrupt it with hours of this bull crap.
No, not even that.
Oh.
You invest an hour in the show.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes before the end, Channel 7, who I despise and detest,
like poison,
decides to cut off the end of the show and sit there and babble incessantly with no information other than the fact that the announcement is pending.
Yeah.
No other station, I checked, not one other network did what they did.
Right.
They waited until 10 o'clock,
sure.
And 5 minutes later, Rick Boobhead says, well, we're now in our 10 o'clock newscast. And I know people were upset because I tried to call him and I couldn't get through.
How do you like that?
And the thing is, the show that they interrupted has such a demographic that I don't think anybody watching really cared if the announcement was pending.
What show was that?
Dark Angel.
Oh, Dark Angel.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, which is a decent show.
Right.
It's got some action, and it appeals to younger people, mostly male.
Uh-huh.
But why do they need to do this? I mean, it's not the first time they've done it.
Because they're a bunch of assholes.
Exactly. The other thing I wanted to tell you
was... Just like CNN, don't forget the new CNN motto, we may not be first, but we never get it right.
Exactly. You were talking before about Brazil having electronic voting.
Uh-huh.
I had read an article, I think, in Wired magazine. Believe it or not, one country that's also in that same situation that's years ahead of us is India. They said there are computers in every polling place.
I hear that they just punch out the dot.
Exactly. Have a great day.
And back to you.
Bye.
Yeah, that's what I hear. In fact, didn't you see when they were looking at the ballots up there in Tallahassee over the weekend, one of the judges, he picked one up and said, what's dot? Yeah, it was some Indian voted. Although I do like Curry. Not so much Kid Curry, but I do like Curry. Yeah, Kid Curry's all right. He's just, he's finally catching on. You know, John keeps bringing him all that European music, and he's finally catching on to the fact the music they play on Power 96 blows. Blows. Big time. Oh, you see, the Backstreet Boys had to add a third concert at the Mac Arena because the first two sold out in about a half a minute. Is Woody getting me those tickets or not? Because I might even go, or I might just give them away.
Haven't spoken to him since we put the order in.
Well, what does that mean? That means he's going to shine me again?
That means who the hell knows?
Oh, I guess Woody must have found out it doesn't rain inside at the National Yenta Center like it did up there in Palm Beach at that awful Coral Sky Amphitheater place where I almost got pneumonia that night. Although I had an interesting experience on the way out. So what do you think Rick Sanchez has to say for himself?
I already have a homosexual relationship with Neil, so I might as well have one with you, too.
We have 357 votes in our poll so far. Got a lot of energy and emotion about this today, and why the hell not? It may be our last gasp. Who's most to blame for Al Gore losing this election? And he did lose, and he will concede at 9 o'clock tonight in spite of CNN's reporting that they're still evaluating the decision about whether Jimmy Carter's going to run again. Al Gore himself is most to blame, said 152, 42.5%. Dumb voters said 64, 18%. Ralph Nader, 48, 13.4%. And there's an asterisk that says, we hope he has a stroke real soon. State of Florida, 32, 9%. U.S. Supreme Court, 23, blame the Supremes. Teresa Lepore, 17. Drew Lieberman, only 12. And the Florida Supremes had only 9 votes. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Yeah, you have a good point. The market, you would have thought it was, the futures were looking up, although not as much as I thought. Remember I told you that this morning? I was a little bit suspicious about that. Because after this all came down last night, I thought to myself, I'm going to go to bed. When I get up in the morning, I'll turn on CNBC, and those futures are going to be skyrocketing. We're going to make a fortune tomorrow. Because they keep telling us, oh, the market wants Bush, the market wants... Well, there are a lot of guys that want Bush. That don't mean they're going to get it. Okay? And the same with us. We want our money back. That doesn't mean we're going to get it anytime soon, Mitch. Anybody want to buy some Shitrix?
No.
Well, that's at least up around 30 now. At least it was this morning. Wow. 30. You want to buy some? I'll sell to you at like 31. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm calling about the election. I'm tired of hearing all these whining Democrats complaining about the vote count. I think people...
Well, then turn on another show. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Turn on Fat Ass Limbaugh, okay? He'll be going, we won. Yeah, he'll be doing that. Turn him on. I'm not interested in hearing your whining, okay? You're the one that's whining. See, there's nothing worse than some asshole calling a talk show and telling, like screaming at the moon, like a dog sitting there barking at the moon. The moon's still not going to go away. So if you don't like what you're hearing, find something else. Have a nice life. Have a nice holiday. Go bark at the... Yeah, and have a merry life. God. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello. Mobile in Hollywood. Oh, are they slow in Hollywood or what? They slow?
Yes.
Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Can't do it. He's twisting it. And the phone, too. 5670560. Hey, listen, I don't have patience for those 900-year-old people in Hollywood or the 900-year-old people in Cemetery Village up in Palm Beach who are the ones responsible for screwing up this election, but nobody wants to point the finger at them. It's much easier to blame the Cubans, the Schwarzers, this one or that one. It's those old people who voted for Buchanan. Yeah. For Pat freaking Buchanan. Shame on you. Shame on you. A disgrace. That would be like writing in Hermann Goering, Rudolf Hess, Joseph Goebbels, George Goebel. What the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, that's right. Father Coughlin. Oh, that's right. He was an American Catholic. How's his radio show doing? 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Anybody who wonders about my comments about the virulence of the Catholic Church, all I have to do is remember those great days when the Father Coughlin radio program was on in this country earlier in the last century, spewing the most virulent anti-Semitism known to man. Even Hitler would have been embarrassed. But at any rate, and then, of course, don't forget John Paul the 12th. I mean, would I say John Paul? Pope Pius the 12th. Whatever. They're all the same. Only the dress has been changed to protect the guilty. Pope Pius the 12th.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale, a Beasley Broadcast Group station. WQAM.com for the world.
This is your president speaking. Yeah, I got so much time nowadays, I even listen to that Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour. It's good. It's good.
I'm seething like a white Christian about the Jews and gay homos. How I'd love to bury those guys killing fairies who don't know the Bible like I know. I'm seething like a white Christian. And how we all must think and act alike and not to think whenever it's appropriate. Yeah, wouldn't it be wonderful if everybody in the world was white and Christian and looked the same and said the same things? Boring? I don't think so. No. To me, that would be paradise and the Republican way. I'm seething like a white Christian, and how we all must think alike. All the gays, black and yet light, must die. Boy! Until everybody's Christian and
whack! Minute after 1 at 560 WQM. It's all over but the shout now. Al Gore's going to concede 9 o'clock tonight. Somebody call CNN and tell him Al Gore's going to concede at 9 tonight. He's not going to say let's have the election all over again. Here's a great fact from Richard in West Palm Beach, who says, now we know why the Republicans didn't want to send Elian back to Cuba. Why send him to a banana republic when we already have one here in Florida? Good point, Richard. Why waste the gas? Huh? That fuel is pretty expensive now. Where will we be going? Here's a call from Miami. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
Today is a glorious day. My president-elect George Bush can kick that ugly...
Yeah, okay. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Hey, great show.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I have one question for you. How about them Democrats, eh?
See, there's two in a row. Two morons, two overgrown children. Like I said, you know what this reminds me of? How many times have I talked about the fact that when you go to any big city in this country and you see crazy people on the street corner handing out religious propaganda, and sometimes they're on a soapbox or they're just standing there and they're always disheveled and they look like they just crawled out of a dumpster, and maybe some of them did. And even people who believe the same fairy tales would say, oh, yeah, those people are embarrassing, they're crazy people. And yet you go to church on Sunday, maybe they'd be sitting right next to those same disheveled, smelly, crazy people. That's what this reminds me of. Juvenile, hateful, sick, twisted, pathetic. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Well, calling in just to let you know that Gore is going to concede.
Thanks.
That you can stop pushing.
Yeah.
Going to get those hemorrhoids back again.
Uh-huh.
And
okay, this is 3 in a row, huh? Another asshole?
No.
Then what are you talking about?
Listen, I just wanted to make a point on how mixed up times are.
Yeah.
They're pretty messed up. The leading rapper is white. The leading golfer is black. And Bill Clinton just got back from Vietnam.
Yeah. Okay. 3 in a row. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Oh, man. Good pizza. Here's a mobile in Pompano Beach. Hello.
Yeah, hey, Neil.
Yes,
First
sir.
of all, love your show. Secondly, you were talking earlier when the Miami Herald under the Freedom of Information Act will ever hold this recount, what kind of standard there would be set.
Yes, how are they going to...
Well, I heard that they will use 2 different standards. One standard obviously lenient more towards the Democratic side, and another one lenient more towards the Republicans. And, well, I don't know. My hunch, personal opinion is probably that either way, Gore would win. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Well, I guess I leave it at that, and we find out the truth will come out.
I haven't got any idea.
The truth will come out either way.
Okay.
Thanks.
See ya. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Take some of those pizzas, Stugotz. Have some free food. That's what we're here for. Free food, paycheck yeah, that's all we're coming for. Free food and a paycheck twice a month. We're not kidding anybody. We're not here to entertain. We're not here to service the sponsors. We're just here to try to squeeze, because that's the Beasley effing way, man. That's what Greg said this morning. He came in here. He said, you squeezing out some good ones? I said, yeah. Smell that? He ran out of here. Yeah, last time I saw Greg in the hallway, he was talking about the Secretary of Bush and her big boobs. Something like that. And George said something about, well, it takes one to... Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. Well, what are they talking about anyway when they want one standard when there's all different kind of ways to vote in this state anyway?
That's correct. That's right.
So, and I guess there's a lot of Antichrist. First Clinton's the Antichrist, and now Gore is. And I guess also that this election...
Oh, look at this. Wait a minute. Bubba had a private talk from Ireland with Al Gore at 10:20 this morning. I just thought I'd mention it in passing. So says MSNBC.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but this election just happened to come out so close with his brother up there. And Florida turned out to be the real sleeper. And I think while we were sleeping, GWB, I guess that stands for Gathering Winning Ballots. So, you have a good one.
Okay. 567-0560. Now, see, I didn't realize, is this the amateur comedy hour?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I forgot about that. I thought it was the big 1 to 2 hour. No, it's the amateur comedy hour. I'm sorry, I forgot. Somebody neglected to slip it to me, and a note, too. But that's okay. You just keep coming along if it makes you feel better, because quite frankly, I'm not all bent out of shape. Life is going to go on. I couldn't give a crap less at this point. And what can I tell you? What's in the bag, George? Oh, those must be from Nick Cigars. See, now here is a great moment. See, all you people are, we're going to bust his balls. I don't care. That makes any difference to me. It kills a few seconds. All you heavy breathers out there. But our friends from Nick Cigars just sent up a bag by personal courier, one of our people.
A listener.
One of our listeners who volunteered to go down. He was going on to probably stock up on his own supply. He said, I'll be kind enough, since it's in the hood, to drop by and deliver them some stuff. And he did. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Nick and Mike and all our good friends down there at Nick Cigars. And Frank Mayo, to you, okay? Mayor, whatever your name is. Frank Mayer. Now, there's an Antichrist for you. There must be there's a factory where they're stamping out little Antichrists. He's one of them. So you won't be stealing any more of our cigars because you won't be doing that account anymore, Frank. You're out, pal. You're out. Even if we have to wind up giving it to the unctuous Peter Leonard. At least we know. No, seriously, at least we know he'd bring him back. We'd have to put up with a half hour of his bullcrap.
We can't subject.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
We like them.
They'd probably have him put away. Like I said, here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, man. You know what? You should have a survey to find out why Bush won, and his brother could be one of the reasons, that no good scumbag, and also the Supreme Court. That's what we ought to have a survey, because that's the only reason why he won. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Good. 567, we're on a real tear.
You're right,
man.
boy.
What?
The comedy hour.
Yeah, we were doing okay until this hour, and then this hour got all crazy people. But that's fine with me. That's what Joe Costello said, free pizza. We don't give a crap. He understands, comes in for his like $3.75 an hour that he gets, all the fame and glory. Rumor is I heard that Joe is buying the hockey team is what I'm hearing. And all the Marines, you're fired. That's also not just a rumor. Yeah, Wayne is jerking, but it'll be interesting to see how many people show up. We got the Penguins next Wednesday at home, which by that time they will have lost, 5, 6 more games in a row? No question about it.
Uh-huh.
But Wayne doesn't care. He doesn't care about wins or losses or coaches or general managers. He just cares about this guy that he's got in town, that he's got all finagled to sell the team to. Another sucker, just like John Henry. And he's going to sell them a bill of goods. In the meantime, he expects each and every one of you to buy a lot of tickets and fill that joint up when they come home.
Shred 'em and say cheese.
This is a story about a girl named Whiny. Every morning she wakes up with all the cash that she needs.
You're gay.
She's rich and famous. She's a star, and she's still just a teen. They go, why is she complaining? This Britney Spears girl. And they say she's so whiny. She's a bitch, yeah, she's just 18, and she's really rich, they say, in her young life. Nothing has gone wrong, so why does she whine in this song? She had a date with Prince William, and she kissed half the guys, some insane.
Rectum.
But she's real unhappy, and her mood is crappy. Hey, come on, she can't even lip sync. They go, she is making millions, this kid in her teens. And they say she's so whiny, what a pain when she starts to whine. I need Novocaine, they say, that she knows her career won't last long. That's why she is whining in this song.
114 at 560 WQAM. I just saw Justin Timberlake on TV. I yelled out at the screen.
You're gay.
Anyway, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Let me say it again. Somebody, in fact, a whole bunch of people at CNN ought to be fired today. Don't you think? CNN ought to do a house cleaning there. No wonder Bernie Shaw's retiring. He's embarrassed. That wasn't the first time either that they've had a thing wrong. They had a whole, the font was totally wrong on Saturday when they were doing the counting. They keep putting the wrong information on there. But last night was the coup d'etat. Because for an hour and a quarter they kept insisting that, well, they've remanded it to the Florida Supreme Court and we're trying to make sense of this, and I guess they're going to have to come up with a standard for how to recount the votes, and we don't know what that is and how they're going to do it in time. And in the meantime, MSNBC, right from the beginning, reverses and remands. Oh, CNN, the network that couldn't get it right. They must be hiring people as stupid as Ted Turner. That must be it. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's not a mobile. Sorry about that.
Here's a stationary in Miami.
Neil, I'm a Republican, but I like to think I also have a sense of humor, and that I'm pretty much along with you at this point. It really didn't matter. Just put somebody into the office.
Yeah, get it over with already.
Yeah,
let's get on with important stuff.
Yeah, you've said actually a lot of things. I'm a relatively recent listener, but a lot of things that make me believe that you're certainly not a Republican, probably a Democrat. But one thing you said last hour really tipped
I'm
your
certainly
hand.
not a Republican. You can go to the bank on that.
One thing you said last hour really tipped your hand. You know what that was? I'm sitting here enjoying a free lunch.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks, Neil.
Okay. Thanks, Neil. That tipped my hand.
Oh, he got you.
Oh, yeah, I'm out of the closet now. Oh, sorry. I'm sitting here enjoying a free lunch. Isn't that something? And thank God that I wasn't born with a silver spoon up my ass like W, you know?
Paid for by the Democratic Party, no less.
Yeah, right.
Free lunch.
Yeah, the Democratic Party. Oh, did they pay for the lunch?
No.
No. One of our fine friends paid for it. Right up the street. A little hit and run, little clever. Oh, yeah, he doesn't know. Well, sir, if you don't know by now which candidate I voted for, which one I voted strongly against, then I feel sorry for you. Then you must be a lot dumber than you sound on the air. 567-0560. Yeah, I'm a relatively new listener. Enjoying a free lunch. Go out and, participate in some lynchings over the weekend and make yourself feel better, okay, pal? Here's Miami Lakes. Hello. Oh, another Republican. Okay, we're on a tear this hour. I guess they're just calling out of the sack now. They must have been out all night partying up, having a good time. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Here's Kendale Lakes. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hear Overtown's going to have extra police protection tonight.
For what?
When they make that concession speech.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're an asshole.
Hey, Gore.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Here's a Lady Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Donna, you know, the depressed divorced woman from yesterday that you teared up.
Uh-huh.
Just an observation.
Don't get chronic, Donna.
Okay, I won't. No, because you cheered me up. You played my song, my Clinton song.
I know.
And my mom's in the car today. You're going to play it for her, please. But an observation. I lived in Los Angeles.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. I knew things were going along a little bit too well because I thought people would be going a little off the deep end today, but it took till 1 o'clock before they started doing it. And isn't it just delicious hearing it? Here's Weston. Hello.
You know what hi, good afternoon, Neil. I'm
yes,
sorry.
sir.
You know what gets lost in all this, well, and I haven't heard many people talking about it, is that the Florida House voted yesterday 79-41 to elect that new slate of electors designated for Bush.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Supreme Court...
However, the Senate hasn't voted on it.
No, the Senate has withheld... Yeah, they may cancel the vote based on what the Supreme Court... And I guess they're waiting to make sure that Mr. Gore concedes. But that was a couple of weeks ago. I thought, maybe it's time for the concession. Then I heard wind of this plan that Republican-controlled state legislature was going to go out and try to elect a new slate of electors. And that gave me pause because I thought, you know, that would be a pretty historic precedent because at that point, if they can do that in this election, I guess it could be a stretch, but it could probably happen in another election too.
Sure.
And when that type of thing happens, then
instead of having the people vote for president anymore, we're going to either have state legislatures or the Supreme Court. Right.
And
save a lot of money.
I'm thinking that, you know, you could have, and as long as you have a like-minded governor with the state legislature.
A white-minded governor?
A like-minded governor with the state legislature, that if you threw a bunch of challenges, regardless of what the outcome, if it was a clear-cut outcome, you could claim the machines were busted, that, you know, there was you know, too many people with hair hanging out of their pulpits or whatever, and all of a sudden you'd have a situation where they could claim, I think...
But it isn't going to make any difference. It's a moot point, so just calm down.
Okay.
Okay?
And I heard... Sonny Fox is still around on the radio?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what I say.
Goodbye.
See ya. Oh, now, who was talking about that the other day? About Ron Hersey? Or is he still on with him?
I don't know.
Are they still going up the Hershey Highway together?
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe it was Hank talking about that the other day, about he's the most talented guy on radio, and I think it was Hank. Ron Hersey is the most talented guy on radio in this market.
Hi, this is Sonny Fox. I listen to Neil Rogers because I can hear the word asshole.
Yeah. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, Neil?
Great.
Neil, a couple of little facts that bother me.
Yes?
Nowhere through this whole challenge process did I ever hear Bush or any of his people ever say they'd respect any court decision that would come down against them. Nowhere did they ever say that they would respect the courts.
Yeah.
That's first. And that's very troublesome.
Well, they only respect them when they come down with a decision they like.
Well, you know, they just came into this place like an occupying army.
Mm-hmm. Now you're catching on. Now you're getting
going to get rid of them.
Right.
You know, it had me wondering if the courts came down against them, were they going to call for arms insurrection to make their point?
Could be.
You know, and the other thing is...
Maybe Dick Cheney would have gone up there with Alexander Haig said, we're in charge with his body, and said, we're in charge now.
Right, exactly. You know, this Rush Limbaugh, not that I listen to him much, but I get to listen to the enemy occasionally.
Why?
He was saying that, you know, when Rome took Cartagena, that they, instead of incorporating, you know, these people into the party, like taking some Democrats and liberals into the cabinet,
yeah,
you know, they salted the field so they couldn't grow no crops and starve these people out and be rid of them once and for all.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, and these are his words, that that's what we should do with the liberals and the Democrats at this point, now that we've seized power.
Yeah.
You know,
This is the type of thinking that goes on this
So
party.
why are you listening to that? Why are you subjecting yourself to that swill?
Well, you're right.
Life is too short,
when
man.
the fascists get in control,
Life
they
is
get
too
some
short.
glimpse of power. It kind of bothers me. And
The fascists have been in control for a long time. I know that maybe you just crawled out of bed, but the fascists have been in control for a long time in this country. See ya. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. See, about the only accurate thing that people were saying, and that was the one thing that motivated me to actually go out and vote, was the Supreme Court. And here's a good lesson for you, boys and girls. Here was the only reason to make sure that Bush didn't get in, if you possibly could, was that we have Clarence Thomas, and we have Souter, and we have, Scalia, and we have Rehnquist, and Sandra Day O'Connor, and not to mention I.B. Token Thomas. That's why. Because those are the people who have the power, because they're in there for life, or as long as they want to be, until some other Nazi comes along, to really manipulate how people are going to live in this country for generations to come. Generations to come. But don't confuse the public with the facts. And now all of a sudden they're up in arms about, oh my God, we thought the Supreme Court was a wonderful institution. Yeah, and non-political. Right. Here's a mobile implantation. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question for you. What is the reasoning behind the blackballing of Teddy Nolan? Why is he not being considered for a coaching job?
Because the league doesn't like guys who give GMs a hard time. They don't. He's been blackballed. He's not going anywhere.
That's basically the whole thing.
Yeah. As far as I know.
We could sure use him.
Well, there's plenty of other guys out there, sir, but it's not going to happen until Wayne sells the team. I mean, you better wake up and sniff the daffodils. Nothing's going to happen until Wayne sells the team. He doesn't care how many games they lose. He doesn't care about the fans, and that's it.
Unbelievable.
Just like with the Marlins, it's the same game all over again.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and so maybe a lot of people, even more than in the past, are going to start staying home from now on.
Well, you know what? In years past, I've tried, it's expensive, but I've tried to make it to at least a half a dozen to a dozen games a year. I have not tried once this year.
Until we get a new owner who cares about the fans, I'd say forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, the product is just not there. It's not worth
No, it is not.
mega investment.
And you know something? Last year, team was playing real well at home and they had a pretty good season and they made the playoffs. And every time you'd go, you'd say, boy, just watching Bure is worth the price of admission. He's not, even though he's got 17 goals, he's a shadow of his former self. Even what he's doing out there is lackluster. There's just nothing going on with him that's exciting, that's worth making the effort unless you live real close by and get free tickets like I do.
You're right, because they're not going to play for Terry Murray. It's a mindset.
Well, we can keep saying the same thing, but Wayne doesn't care.
God bless Wayne.
Okay.
And all the Bushes.
See you.
The assholes that they are.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. 411 votes so far. Who's most to blame for Gore losing this election? Al Gore himself, 175. Dumb voters, 73. Nader, 54. State of Florida, 39. U.S. Supremes, 26. Teresa Lepore, 21. Drew Lieberman, 14. The Florida Supremes, still pretty way down there on the bottom with only 9 votes. Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
How you doing?
Okay.
I guess if they're going to call us Nazis, we might as well end our reputation. So I guess all the fags and the stinking liberals should take cover because it's the end for you guys. And by the way, this is the banana boat lady you insulted a week ago, but guess what? I got the last laugh. Bye.
She got the last laugh is on me. Boy, do I feel bad now or what? Ha, ha, ha. The banana boat lady I insulted. Well, I don't even know what she's talking about, do you?
No, I don't remember.
No.
Could have been any number of banana boat ladies.
Yeah, could have been any number of banana boat. And you know what, sweetheart? We don't care. Blow it out your ass. It's a radio show. No, it's not. It's just a radio show, bitch. 567 and have a nice day. 560. But isn't it interesting how they're coming out of the closet now? It's beautiful. The people that think that I've been, oh no, that Neil, he makes up all these terrible things, and people who don't agree with him, they're Nazis and fascists and hateful. Yeah, well, we know that. And now the rest of the people are starting to catch on. So I'm glad that you're coming right out into the open. All you bigoted, obnoxious, narrow-minded assholes, dictatorial schmucks. And by the way, get back on the boat, sweetheart. Let's take a vote. Oh, it was unanimous. They said get back on the boat. Rhymes with. Be sure and wear a coat. 26 after 1, and I hope you can float.
The Neil Rogers Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Floridians, dumb as dirt.
You know Dancer and Prancer, Dasher and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Rudolph the well-hung reindeer had a very lengthy hose, and when he got excited, it stuck out way past his nose. All of the other reindeer wondered why the sled wouldn't go. Turns out that Rudy's organ was getting stuck in the snow. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Mr. Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your tool so long, won't you drive me all night long? All of the reindeer hate him. He's the favorite one because Rudolph, the well-hung reindeer, gets to bang Mrs. Claus.
131 at 560. Yeah, there's something we do have a free lunch today, and it's delicious. Thanks again, Brad. Yeah, we got free lunch, and guess what? We're eating it, and that guy's not. Oh, yeah, you kind of tipped your hand a little bit. Maybe he'll elope with the banana boat lady. What a match that would be.
I just can't stand that, Celeste.
Gore to concede at 9 p.m. Bush will speak after Gore concedes and says we still look fair and square. And the Florida Senate recessed. They said, okay, we're safe now. We can get out of here. Here's a Plantation. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Neil, you had read something sometime back, a New York Times article, Cheer Up, George, winning's not too bad.
Right.
I absolutely wanted to get my hands on that and didn't know how.
It was from the New York Times, I think. Wasn't that another, was that, oh, jeez. Bob, what the hell's his name?
I'm sure they have a website.
Bob Herbert, I think that's his name.
Yeah, probably search the article.
Go to the New York Times website and search the articles. I think it was Bob Herbert wrote that article.
Very good. Thanks, Neil. Enjoy the show.
Okay, thanks. Gee, I can't believe it. There was like a real caller there?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Fluke.
How's the banana boat lady doing, huh? She's my favorite.
I just can't stand that, Celeste.
I got the last laugh. Nah, 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 nah.
That's called Aldeo.
Yeah, Aldego?
Yeah, all you fags and niggers and kikes and spicks. Yeah, we got the last laugh on you.
That's Spicks with an asterisk.
Oh, I see. That's all Spicks except her. I'm sorry. Now, I wonder if she cleans her floor with spam. Here's Stuart. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
In keeping with your theme of looking for a silver lining, I buy that. Here are two for you. Number one, for the past 5 weeks, you have not had to just devote your program to early birds and wolfies and all that crap. You've had at least some decent conversation, 1 out of 5 calls, let's say, maybe 1 out of 10.
Not this hour.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and improve that. The second thing is this, Neil. Historically, it's like really sound that whoever wins a presidential election, as I'm sure you know already, the Congress goes the other way 2 years later, for sure. It's so damn close. It's pretty sure going to then be Democratic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
2 more years after that of Bush, and if we run anybody that makes any sense.
Well, you say if, they can always dig up Michael Dukakis again. Don't overestimate the ability of the Democratic Party to come up with a candidate who can win.
Well, it'll be somebody like the kid in North Carolina that got flattered for a couple of days, remember, when he was considered for the vice president slot. Somebody like that is going to get ambitious, and he's really a very good man, although I don't know him that well. Last point, in terms of who screwed this up, as far as I'm concerned, Clinton gave Gore the ball on the 50-yard line. I know you love sports analogies.
No, he gave him the ball on the 2-yard line.
He gave him the ball. Let's be kind. He gave him the ball on the 50-yard line, and the goddammit, he could not take it the last way, which is ridiculous.
Let me say it again. He gave him the ball on the 1-inch line of the other team, and he couldn't sneak it in. That's probably what he told him on the phone this morning. Yeah, they had quite a conversation. Bubba's in Ireland. And he was probably talking about the great Irish chicks over there. That's why he probably invited Al to come over. He said you'll be doubling your pleasure. Maybe he's got some of those leper condoms waiting for Al when he gets there. Yeah, that's probably what they talked about was see. Here's a call from Cape Coral. Hello.
Good afternoon, Neil.
Yes, sir. Chronic. Call us again next year, sir. 56705. Now, what are you laughing about? You know him. As soon as I see Cape Coral, I know it's going to be him.
Good afternoon, Neil. Lovely lady. Oh, wrong show.
No, seriously. I mean, what's the point? And then this banana boat. The best part about the banana boat bitch is she's still listening and she calls back again. You can't insult those people. The Chronics will be there forever. You can hope that maggots from mummies that died 80,000 years ago crawl up their ass, and they still are going to be listening.
Where's the maggots already? We're still waiting. Where's the maggots, faggot?
Here's a lady in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Neil?
Yes, I am.
Italy has its mafia, and we have the Supreme Court. Merry Christmas and a happy 4 years ahead.
Okay. 5670560, pound 560.
Now we're back on track.
Now we're getting back to it, getting the intellectual calls now. Well, that's George gets the intellectuals. I've heard some of those. Here's Miami Lakes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
I agree with you that it was Al Gore's race to lose, and I think he did a good job of that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, he made it exciting, and he still blew it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think he was more like on the. They left him on the 70-yard line or something like that, and he just didn't push. I think he was too afraid to take a stand on anything. George Bush, God help us all, or you help us all, right?
Mm-hmm.
God. About the popular vote, they say that the popular vote in Dade County or in South Florida is a Republican vote because all the Cubans are Republican and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but Gore won Dade County.
I'm sorry?
Gore won Dade County.
Yeah, he won Dade County. Also, Alex Pinellas is a Democrat.
Yeah, but not at election time though.
Not at election time.
Unless it's his own.
Raul Martinez is a Democrat.
Right.
And but yet, everyone you see on the street in Hialeah and Miami-Dade driving, all the Cubans driving around with their Bush Cheney stickers. You know, I don't get it. It's so much hypocrisy. You know, they want to be Republicans, but, you know, everybody that helps them out is a Democrat.
Yeah, and how about the Democrats in the legislature who hopped over on the other side in the House when they voted yesterday on the electors? You're in the Deep South. It's hard to find a real Democrat in the Deep South, whether it's Cuban, whether it's whatever it is. It's pretty hard to find one.
I don't know what the interest is in having Bush in there. There's an underlying factor, I guess. Dun, 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 dun. Because this guy's an idiot, obviously. Obviously, that lost deer look.
Well, it's not complicated. He's the face man for the family. Don't you understand that? The family had the reins of the government taken away 8 years ago. They hate Clinton and Gore, mostly Clinton like poison, and now is their chance to take it back. Baker and Cheney and all these same people were there before.
Yeah, they see no flaws in this idiot. When Clinton was running, because he smoked pot. Oh, but he didn't inhale. They made a big issue out of that. This guy's a drunk and a
but you're forgetting about the blowjobs, man. See, you're forgetting about the important stuff. Have a great day, pal. Yeah, I guarantee you, George W. He ain't going to be getting us no head. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T Verizon. In fact, he insisted on driving the limo to his own inauguration. Yeah. Or is Ted Kennedy going to be driving him? And Rick Sanchez. Yeah, George W. will be speaking tonight. And like I said before, all you people getting all worked up to a frenzy, both candidates were terrible. We're trying to keep, use Gore as the buffer to keep the fascists out. He did a terrible job, as anticipated. Managed to let it slip right through his fingers right there at the end. And then this is what we're stuck with. Don't be blaming the creeps that came in here and stole it. You left the opening, It's like when your defense falls apart there right at the end of the game. It's like the Dolphin-Jets game a few weeks ago, the first one. You got you a big lead, and all of a sudden right there at the end, just when you think you got it in your pocket, you let it slip through your fingers. Don't be blaming anybody else. Blame yourself. And that's what the Democrats have to do. That's what Al Gore's got to do. And that's what some of the people like Jesse Jackson have to do. It's one thing to get your people out there to vote. Another thing to teach them how to do it right so their vote might count. A-Rod signs for $250 million. George W. steals the presidential election. Would you say this is the decline and fall of the umpire? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. You better call up the Cartahegans. Like Tom Cartahagen, our Colt McFriend.
Are they still picking the salt out of their fields?
I hear he moved to Horsehead. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Lady Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I called you a little while ago, but I never even got to say what I was going to say, and it wasn't even bad.
In other words, you were on?
I was on, but you just hung up.
What do you mean by that?
You hung up the phone, and it wasn't any big, mean political commentary. It was just a thought. It was a nice thought. I wanted to share it with you.
And you're calling again? What did you say that I hung up?
I honest to God, I don't know.
Oh, okay. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Do you remember which one she was?
No.
I don't either. Maybe you can introduce her to the banana boat lady. I think
she wasn't that one.
No, I know that. I think they'd hit it off real big. Here's Pompano Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I agree with you totally that Al Gore totally dropped the ball. And I wanted to ask you a question. I was hearing something about even if they would have done the recount and Gore would have won, that there was some way that they had the legislation picked out or something like that. How does that work? I was trying to figure out how that works. I don't totally understand that.
Don't worry about it now, pal. It's too late. 5670560, pound 5. Well, I'm not going to go through and explain the whole thing about the electors and all of that. He don't get it. And this woman that called a second time, if it was so important, whatever you were telling me, how come you couldn't even remember what the hell it was, lady? That you had to call back a second time? It was so damn important that she had to call back a second time to tell me when I asked what it was. She don't know. Oh. Well, let's try this lady in Miami. Hello?
Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. My bags are packed right now and ready to go. Okay, I'm not a Florida native, so, it's a good thing. But anyway, a couple things. First of all, I am as sick as you are at seeing the same stupid pictures on Channel 7. It's like, how many times do we have to see these people wave? We know what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that bugs me is Clarence Thomas. Every time they show a picture of the Supreme Court, he's trying to talk to somebody, but yet he has never asked one question.
Right.
Ever. I mean, some guy said he hadn't asked a question in 2 or 3 years.
No.
It's like, what is really going on, okay? And to your friend, to a banana boat lady, I mean, I don't understand how the Cuban people think that Bush actually gives a damn about them. Because if they do, they've got a big
don't confuse them with the facts, don't you understand?
Oh, yeah, I know it. I know it. Okay, the only good thing about Florida is your show, but I will be listening as soon as possible.
Good luck.
Bye.
Don't waste any time, believe me. Trust me when I tell you. 5670560. See, these are the anti-immigration people, the Republican people, but don't confuse the, and I'm not going to keep going into that, because everyone wants to talk only about the Cubans as if they're the only group in this state that's politically screwed up or in this country, which they're not, but most of them sure are. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. This hour should have opened up a lot of eyes, ears, and rectums in this town, I'll tell you that. Listen to this group of, we've had a few that have made a little bit of sense. And then we had the banana boat lady. Here's Boca. Hello.
Yeah, hey, Neil. I happen to be Jewish, and I happen to live in Palm Beach County.
Oi!
And even though I know that I voted correctly, I resent the fact that this country thinks that people who live in Palm Beach County are just a bunch of stupid, whining Jews, and it really pisses me off.
There's some stupid, whining Graham in Palm Beach, too.
Yeah, I'm not saying there aren't any.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's not a good characterization. And I can back that up by saying that...
Yeah, but you don't live in Cemetery Village.
Actually, my grandfather does.
Oh, boy. Woo, boy!
Anyway, I just want to back that up by saying that right after our election, presidential election, there was a presidential election in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And they did a study, independent scientists, not some guy whose child is in the 3rd grade who in school was prompted to vote correctly and went home and showed, look, I can vote on the butterfly ballot. But an actual scientific study where they set it up. They had the two leading candidates from Canada.
Yeah.
And the spots for George Bush and Al Gore, and then they had all the other candidates in Canada lined up, and that 30% of the people ended up voting for Pat Buchanan.
Uh-huh.
So if 30% of the people voted for Pat Buchanan, and only 20,000 out of 420,000 in Palm Beach, which is 4% of Palm Beach, voted for Pat Buchanan, then that shows that people in Palm Beach County are smarter than average people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're listening so intently.
I'm listening. And?
So I'm a whining Jew, huh?
I didn't say that. I just said it's all over, pal. Relax.
Oh, I know. I just don't like being called a whining whiner.
Well, you took it personally, in other words.
Yeah, I always take it personally.
Well, don't do it.
All right.
And quit whining. See ya. See, there you go again. Well, he must have heard that whiny bit. If it's good enough for Brittany, it's good enough for you, sir. 152 at 5, if it's good enough for Jew. 152 at WQM. We got Hank Groberg standing by at 2 o'clock this afternoon. That big Panther game tonight. Wow. Gore will be speaking at 9. George W., the new president, will be speaking at 10. The new president, George W., will be speaking at 10. Oh, my God. The new president? Woo! You have to be kidding me, baby. Man. Even she's gagging on it.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is Dan Rather reporting for the CBS Evening News. CBS sources can now confirm that a man charged with counting ballots has been caught eating chads. The man has been removed from his counting duties and will be undergoing psychiatric evaluation. More details tonight on the CBS Evening News. For now, this is Dan Rather reporting.
He only counts at night in the lack of light, chewing dollars in his mouth until it comes out right. Hopping him like 10 till his man Al Gore becomes the president. Swallowing the tabs, eating all he grabs. He claims he wants justice for Gore, Lieberman and Bass. He's getting fatter. The Democrats think this guy is heaven sent. Oh, here he comes. Watch him count and shoot him off. Oh, here he comes. He's a chat eater. Oh, here he comes. Man, this guy is one sick pup. Oh, here he comes. He's a chat eater.
157 and 560 WQM. Here's another lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Neil. This is a very sad, difficult day for us Democrats. However,
It's not sad or difficult for me. It's just life goes on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Life
It's not
goes
the
on.
first time a candidate that I voted for or supported lost an election, and life goes on.
Life goes on, and it has been, and everybody will experience the same thing. However, let's not forget that in less than 2 years, we have other elections coming up.
Yeah.
And the first casualty should be Jeb.
Yeah.
And I think we should, the Democrats especially, need to gather all this energy up.
Well, I got news for you. How about if they get somebody good to run against him instead of like a dead man like Buddy McKay?
How about Wexler?
Huh?
Wexler?
Sounds great to me.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Okay, talk to you. Bye.
Got my vote.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he was really out of control. Did you see him the other night just screaming and hysterical?